All right, hello YouTube. I guess while I'm talking, I should probably get an Audacity thing going. I knew I was forgetting something.
You always do.
Yeah, there's usually something to forget, but I guess while we're talking here on the YouTube side, if you're not listening to the Dark Tower show, there may be a little bit of a surprise for you here.
Hello.
You want to riff for just 1 second while I get this Dark Tower one wrapped up here?
So I'm back. For now. We'll see what happens going forward. It's going to be awesome.
Sorry, I didn't even save the other one.
Oh, you didn't?
Parts. I actually don't know what the fuck part it was because I had two different numbers.
I've thrown off Tad's groove.
No, it was just me. I was just forgetting shit. So now we close this one out and then get another one going so I could record this show for the podcast. But once I have this recorded, we can go ahead and there we go. And we can go ahead and hit the intro and jump right into the episode. I already posted on social media. Trying to we move this. It was double whammy because ultimately there was some bamboozling because of Peter, but also truthfully, Dan Carlin is in town and I've got to go. So
best podcaster.
Indeed, he's the man. All right, let's hit it and get going.
Let's go.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to Geekery Abides. We are here for episode 30. What a monumental episode for that, at least. We are chugging right along with the numbers here. And for the podcast side, there is a little bit of a surprise.
Well, hello there.
General Kenobi.
I'm back for an episode or two or three or maybe all of them. We don't know yet.
To be determined. Indeed.
We didn't even cover that on the other show.
That's true. We didn't. Hey, it's the Traveler's Rest. I mean, there's a lot of excitement involved there, right?
I didn't want to say anything up front because I didn't want to take time away from the subject at hand. So
yeah,
I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to leave it to be TBD. So
indeed. So let's go ahead and jump on into through everything here. First of all, we got the emails. If you want to email the show, you can do that in one of two ways. You can either email either of us directly. It is either Peter or Tad. Tad is TADD at geekeryabides.com. Peter is how you would spell it everywhere, not Russia.
It's Soviet Russia.
And then let's see. Next up, we've got watching, reading, playing. So let's go ahead and hit that. What do you got?
So I watched a lot over the last little bit, but I just took note of like the most recent stuff. I watched Masters of the Air, which of course.
What'd you think?
Oh,
I probably have to do an episode on it at some point, but my God, dude, that show
so good,
so
good.
Yeah,
I want more.
Yeah,
I just want more, and I have two in mind for what they should do next.
Yeah,
I would wholeheartedly agree with you. Navy needs to be done.
Yeah,
we have Army, we have Marines, we have Air Force. Give me a Navy.
Which the Air Force wasn't even a thing, right?
No, it was part of the Army.
It was the Army at the time.
Yeah, at the time,
it was minted its own thing
Yeah.
right after the war. But
but yeah, Navy absolutely needs to happen. And then, dude, I would fucking love an espionage one. Give me everything with the Resistance. That little bit that we got in the Masters of the Air, just like, I want a 7-course meal of this. I want 10 episodes of the Belgian and French and Holland and even Italian resistance all across the stuff happening in Japan. Like, I just want a Resistance one all the way across the board.
Yeah.
Which, of course, watching Masters of the Air made me rewatch The Pacific.
Yeah.
And now I'm watching Band of Brothers. I'm in the second episode right now. So that's where I'm at with that. I also rewatched all of Letterkenny and Shoresy, shows that you still have not watched.
Indeed. Can't trust
And
Canadians.
Currently I'm rewatching Ted Lasso with my wife as well.
Oh, nice.
So reading, the little bit of reading that I've been doing recently is I'm finishing up the Bill Hodges trilogy. So I'm on end of watch. I have listened to the first two. So
Gotta love the happy slapper.
Yep, from Stephen King. And then playing, I got the EA Play thing. They offer it through Steam now for $5 a month. So I've been playing football, Madden Football 24, and then Titanfall 2, and then a game called Binding of Isaac. Kind of like a dungeon. It's different every time. The items are different. The bosses are different. It's not the same every single time.
Yeah.
And you go to try to beat different bosses and everything like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of fun. What about you?
So for me, I've been watching. Everyone should know this on this show. I had tried to pretty much put everything aside for X-Men to watch through all the old stuff before.
Shit, I forgot about that.
Before the new one. I failed. I still have quite a bit to go, so I'm just not watching the new one as it airs. I'm gonna wait till I finish through.
Is it airing, or did they just drop the whole season?
No, one or two episodes aired.
Oh,
so,
fuck. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm still like I think I barely got into the second to last season. So that one's like 21 episodes. So I got most of that, and then there's like 10 episodes of the final season. So I still have a quite a bit to get
ways to
through,
go.
unfortunately. Yeah, I stalled. Masters of the Air I did not put aside because the finale just aired last week.
Yeah.
Masterful, incredible, so good.
So good.
So damn good. Reading, I'm currently reading Swan Song. By Robert McKernan, I think. That was referenced multiple times. King has talked about it. And then Chris from Australia in our Discord mentioned it as a recommendation. So basically, it constantly gets comped to The Stand. It was written in the mid-'80s, but it is a nuclear holocaust.
Oh,
that happens.
Right up your alley.
Yes, exactly.
You love nuclear weapons and everything about them.
I am loving it. But the thing that surprised me is I feel like there's more than just a worldwide disaster. There's a character that's very Flag-like, and I was like, wait, is there actually like supernatural shit here? I thought it was just like end of the world, so they comp it to The Stand, but I don't know yet. But there's
some skullduggery.
There was a person that was in a movie theater watching Faces of Death on repeat. When everything happened, and after people or whatever, like he's still around. So I do have a feeling he might be supernatural in some way and might be very Flag-esque.
Interesting.
Lovable character. A great book so far. Loving it. So, and then I'm still playing MLB The Show. I am going to hit my goal of playing every pitch of an entire 162 game season. I am 111 games, I think, in right now.
Ooh.
So
how you doing? You doing good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's not like football where it's like, oh, I'll play 16, 17 games and that's a season. Like this one, it's like you're in a crunch to like finish the season before the next game comes out.
Yeah.
So, and then I also bought the Star Wars Battlefront collection. Been playing the old Battlefront 2. That's been fun. I know people have been bitching because there's been some issues with it. I haven't had a lot of issues. I'm just playing like instant battle and just drop myself in Hoth or Camino. Those are always my two favorites.
Yeah.
But I played some other maps too. But I love Hoth.
Multiplayer or just yourself?
Just myself. Just going against AIs. It's fun stuff. And then of course I threw back on the Mortuary's Assistant for the first time since last summer. A lot of fun there. Some happenings outside of the game after I played it.
I still want Hayden to play that.
It's really fun, really fun.
Hayden says you can't trust Canadians. That's his Texas size 10-4. And then Lydia says watching Vampire Diaries, Ted Lasso, Letterkenny, and Shoresy. That's a hard no from Hayden on playing Mortuary Assistant. She's not reading anything. She's playing Binding of Isaac, Cult of Lamb, and Supermarket Simulator. That's a new game for you.
Yeah, dude. I'm to the point where I won't be surprised by simulators anymore.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the one that really just like I couldn't believe was PC Builder Simulator.
Where you build a PC?
Yeah, I'm like,
God.
I'm like, what the fuck? So at that point, I threw it out the window. I'm like, all right, whatever. There's gonna be simulators for everything. So,
I got a game for you to check out.
Yeah.
Squirrel with a Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like that evil? Was it Swan or Goose?
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, there's that one.
Yeah,
There's
that one's more kid friendly. This one, you're a squirrel with a gun and you shoot people in the face.
That sounds fun.
That's why I thought of you.
I also want to play that cat game.
Stray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks fun. Because I mean,
It's my wife played it. She loved it.
Shenanigans being a cat. That sounds like fun. There's all kinds of. Hopefully, you can kill things and whatnot. That's what cats do, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Cats are godless killing machines.
They are.
All right, so let's jump on over to the news. There is a lot to cover. So
Yeah.
the first one we have is got some visuals for it. Ghostbusters is doing some collectible popcorn receptacles.
Saw this.
There's two of them. One of them is from Regal. One of them is from AMC. I actually like the Regal one better. I guess the AMC one probably holds more popcorn. I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters fan. I think that's like one brilliant movie and a lot of really big letdown sequels for the most part. I don't even know if I'm going to go see the new one. But this looks pretty fun. Like little kid Tad would have dug the fuck out of a Ghost Trap. They had a Ghost Trap toy set, and I never got it as a kid. But
I never did either.
yeah,
I wanted it, but I never got it.
Aaron had it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That son of a bitch.
So that's kind of cool. It may be the best popcorn collectible that I've seen that's like themed. They're starting to do that now because in the old days it was just like they would just have a normal like tin and it was designed for the movie. But now they're starting to do like the sex toy for Dune and now this one. So
I saw that one too.
yeah. Although Regal didn't have it. Hayden,
No.
Hayden and I were looking for it.
Of course you
When we went and saw Dune.
Gens.
I mean, come on, man.
Hayden says that he is watching somebody feed Phil and X-Men 97, reading the Daily Stoic,
Yeah.
and then playing Super Smash as always, and Spider-Man 2 on PS5.
Yeah, he won a PS5 at work.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Hey, congrats. That's awesome.
He hit me up and he's like, got any recommendations? I'm like, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
I'm like,
he should play Red Dead.
he's already playing that on
Is he?
Xbox. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff,
How does
though.
he handle when he shoots someone in the head? Because it's icky.
It is quite gooey.
Does he go look? First person?
I don't know if I've told Hayden this, but when I play Red Dead, I have one rule
Yeah.
that I always abide by.
I know this. I know this rule.
Every O'Driscoll, after the firefight, I go over, grab my shotgun, and I pop their heads.
Yep.
Every one of them. And there is one point when you face off with quite a number of O'Driscolls, and guess what I did? I went through, and I found every body and popped their fucking heads like goddamn zits. It was glorious. But yeah, that's my way of.
Hayden said, I asked the lady at Regal, do you have the fun interactive popcorn bucket or whatever? Oh, yeah, we went and saw Dune together.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's how you asked me to come back for an episode.
Yeah.
At least.
The
Maybe more.
Traveler's Rest, man. This next one is fun. Agatha, the show, has got a new title again.
Another one?
So at first, this was titled Agatha, House of Harkness.
Yep.
Then it was Agatha, Coven of Chaos.
Okay.
Then it was Agnes of Westview for like 3 seconds.
Wait, what? I never even heard that one.
And then it was called Agatha, most recently, Agatha Darkhold Diaries. And now it is finally
Another one?
been titled Agatha.
Just Agatha.
So we'll see if this one sticks.
Just Agatha.
I legitimately went and found. I missed some of those too, but apparently this has changed names more times than a 9-time divorcee.
Figure it out.
Seriously. Naming shenanigans aside, the buzz is pretty great for this. Everyone who worked on it that's spoken out publicly is super happy with how it came together. So I'm pretty excited to watch.
Hayden's
it.
onto something. I wonder if they're episode names.
No, these were the names of the
I know,
the
but
show.
what if they're just leaking the names of the episodes and oops.
No, they all sound like show title-y, right? Like House of Harkness, Coven of Chaos, Agnes of Westview, Dark. Those all just feel like a show title, right?
Oh, okay.
Like more than an episode title. But I don't know. Who knows? Bring it on though. What's her name that plays Agatha is awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Next up, we've got the X-Men 97 creator Beau DeMayo fired days before the debut of the show.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Literally, this was like right before the red carpet event. So,
Oh.
Literally,
What'd he do?
final out. No saying on exactly what it is, but the silence from both sides is deafening. He has obliterated his social media accounts, and nobody is saying anything. The majority of the leaks seem to paint him as an extraordinarily hard to work with, and potentially verbally abusive to writers and people around him. Additional context: he was also fired from the Witcher series. So him being fired is not a new thing.
I watched The Witcher. I watched all 3 seasons of that.
Yeah, he was fired at some point. But it did also note he has already completed the work for season 2, writing duties, and previously worked on Moon Knight and an early Blade draft for the script for Blade. So
And Blade had to be redone too, didn't it?
that's been rewritten a number of times
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Who knows what's going on
Kind
there?
of got handed some of the shit going on, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely it was interesting with the silence. It made some people wonder if there was some bad shit coming down the way. But
And there still could be.
it could be. Yeah, nothing's come out so far. At one point, there was some rumors being brought up because he has an OnlyFans apparently.
Oh, boy.
But I don't know. That doesn't sound like that's a legitimate reason as to why he was fired. So, next up, how about some Deadpool 3 talk?
Hells yes.
So Deadpool 3.
Suck it to my veins!
Originally, the Deadpool 3 idea involved a road trip to save Christmas.
yes.
Was the
I
ori-
heard about
was
this.
The original, apparently. So, Karan Sony, which plays the cab driver in the Deadpool trilogy, was being interviewed. He did a few interviews, and he says, they're not telling me anything, which is good. Honestly, to bring it back to Rashawn, on our first date, I recapped the plot of Deadpool 3, which I wasn't supposed to. This was the Fox version, which didn't get made because the studio got sold or whatever. But we just met, and I was desperate to impress him, and I just blurted out the entire thing. I told him Hugh Jackman was coming back, was going to be in it. This was years before. All I can say is I didn't get a script this time, thank God. They didn't even tell me the trailer was coming out. I got to watch it when it came out, and I'm very excited to be a small part of it. And then he was asked about the Fox version. He says, yes, I think it's online a little bit, so I can't say. It was going to originally be a road trip movie where Deadpool tries to save Christmas, so we all go to the North Pole.
Deadpool with elves.
Yeah.
All right.
And reindeer.
Oh no. Poor Rudolph. Cover your eyes, Blitzen.
Oh, man. Let's see. And then next up, let me see if I... next up, also, the rumor is Deadpool and Wolverine includes, quote, a lot of Kevin Feige jokes.
Really? Well, I mean, he already called himself Marvel Jesus in the trailer, so.
Yeah, so this is also from Karen Sony. I don't know how you say his name. I want to say Sony, but it's not spelled that way. It's an I instead of a Y. But he says, quote, I can say I think it'll be really good, this movie. And from the little experience of my part of it, it's definitely Ryan taking full advantage of the MCU and playing with all the toys. It feels like it's coming out at a perfect time for the MCU because it's ready for a little bit of a shakeup, and he's definitely shaking it up. Quote, and I think like this is great, and that's coming at this time, and they're very willing to make fun of themselves, which is important. And I got to meet Kevin Feige, and I was surprisingly starstruck. I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, it's him. When I was surprised, which I was surprised that I was. But it was very cool to see those minds together. You know him. Kevin's obviously completely changed the industry, and then Ryan, who's such a genius, like them combining their powers, it's pretty exciting. Then he goes on and says, quote, it was just like this one was so different for me because we didn't get a script or because he says we didn't get a script, but apparently, certainly he didn't, because it sounds like he's the Tom Holland of this series. It was very secretive, and so we were just in this. I got this scene like a day before, or whatever, and we walked into the soundstage, and then he appeared next to Hugh Jackman talking about Kevin Feige, and I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen. It was very crazy, but it was very sweet. He was very sweet, very kind. He came up and said hi to all of us from the original movie and stuff, and he seemed excited. Excited himself by what was happening. And then Ryan is definitely like, calling him out a lot at the moment. There's a lot of Kevin Feige jokes in the movie. You'll have a good, and he has a good sense of humor about it, so that's really cool.
He's
So,
going to be in the movie.
Maybe
He's there on the soundstage when they're filming a scene.
Oh, he's on set quite a bit though. He's got that Godfather mentality because he's yet to have like a cameo or anything. That's what makes me want. I think he might.
Deadpool will be the one to do it.
I think he might be a bit bashful, but if they wrote him into the script though,
yes,
that would get it to where
Yes.
like if he was bashful and didn't want to be on camera,
Yeah.
that would throw it out the window. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, She-Hulk, it was a robot, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, can't wait for that coming out
I
here.
love that he has a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're dealing with Deadpool, for God's sakes.
yeah, exactly. I hope somehow, like, something happens to where then Feige becomes the one that gets all the cameos forevermore in the
That'd be
MCU.
awesome.
You know, Stan's been
Here's
gone.
the start of it right here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It'd be great. Next up, we got some Venom news. Venom got an official title, as well as its date was moved forward. It is now titled Venom: The Last Dance, and the date moved from November 8th to October 25th. So it moved forward a little bit,
Okay.
just a smidge. So, I mean, I don't know.
didn't even know they were making a third. I still haven't seen the second one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them. But
I like the first one. I don't remember. Did I watch this? No, I didn't watch the second one yet.
I'm mostly calling it out because I know a lot of people do actually like Venom. It's not me. It's not my cup of tea, but I know some people do love him. So I figured mention it. So next up, Giancarlo Esposito has said that he would love to play Professor X. So I got a quote from him here. He says, I've given it a cursory glance in my brain, and immediately I go, it would be great to play Professor X in some other carnation than just the wheelchair, right? Because the physical idea of being in a wheelchair every single day doesn't really appeal to me. I just don't feel that old, and I don't like to sit that much, but certainly we could figure something out, maybe. Professor X wasn't always in the wheelchair, but it is part of his character development. So I think about it a little bit, but I don't give it all my thought because it would have to come to me. So at least he's open to the idea. But wheelchair's going to be there for a
It's
chunk.
going to be needed if you're doing Professor X because
I mean, McAvoy didn't for the most part,
no,
right?
but McAvoy was pre, X-Men, like the formation. Do we really want to do that again?
Yeah, I don't know.
So.
I kind of wonder and I don't know if that's a deal breaker for him to say no to the role.
Yeah.
But I do think that I highly doubt they're going to not do the wheelchair for him.
I would not be opposed to them doing an X-Men where we get a lot of flashbacks and he's not in a wheelchair for those.
Yeah.
Like the founding of the school and the start of the school and everything like that. That's fine with me. But I don't know about redoing, like First Class and all those ones again.
Yeah. Yeah. I just noticed Hayden's but fuck those bears.
Yeah. When we were talking about Red Dead.
See, that's what I want to see is just I just want to be there when Hayden's playing and encounters a bear in the wild. Did you hear that roar? Because it's very distinct.
Oh, yeah. It's
know?
like, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, though. Wolves suck a little bit, but you can usually fend them off. The cats are the ones that I can't fucking stand. Because they spook you off the horse and then you're dead. Like, you have almost no chance.
Yeah.
Like, they are on you so fucking fast.
Yep.
Oh, good old bears.
The bears at least maul you and you can stab them.
Yeah.
But the cats, they just jump on your back and nom.
Yeah, you have a fighting chance with a bear a little bit, but with
Yeah.
the fucking cats, dude, you are done for.
Yep.
Next up, Marvel Marvel Studios confirms that a Nova project is in development. Aiden, it's a sound that makes my butthole pucker. And I don't even know. Is it a roar? It's such a distinct sound. Yeah, there's just
Kind of like a growlish roar.
Yeah, it's
We should get that as a soundbite.
soundbite. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just have a grizzly bear face on the button.
Yep.
So yeah, this is from Brad Winderbaum, which is the head of Marvel's streaming animation and television. And he was doing an interview and he says, we love Nova. We're in really early development on Nova. We have a new system behind the scenes at Marvel Studios, which we covered. They're being a little bit more legit, like normal TV shows work.
Yeah.
And he says, we're more like a traditional studio now. We're developing more than we actually will produce. There are plans to develop Nova. I love Nova too. I love Rich Rider too. I hope it gets to screen. The world is always chaos, though. There's always things. You got to conjure these things to make them happen. But I'd love to see a Nova show one day. So that is the ultimate thing. Is development doesn't mean that we're going to get a final product, right? Like that's something we all understand.
I mean, the Dark Tower show went into development.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And then, as a recap, Nova is originally introduced in 1976 in The Man Called Nova #1. He was a member of the intergalactic police force known as the Nova Corps, which we've seen in the MCU already.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
He has superhuman abilities, including enhanced strength, flight, and resistance to injury. So that is interesting. We'll have to keep our eye on that and see if it is something that will be made.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Shang-Chi 2 is apparently going to feature, and this is a rumor, it is going to feature time travel and Iron Fist.
All right. That actually fits with Shang-Chi. So
It does, but dude, it has to be a complete fresh thing.
give me someone new.
It can't have anything to do with that fucking god-awful Netflix show.
Yeah.
Because, like, as good as, like, Daredevil was, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist was fucking terrible, man.
It was not worth it.
It was so bad. I couldn't even force my way through it, and I was trying, dude.
Yeah.
I at a certain point, I was just like, I can't do
I
this.
eventually need to go back and watch the last season of Jessica Jones. That's the only bit of Netflix I never watched. I watched everything else.
Yeah, I've thought about going back and revisiting the Daredevil show. It's been a while.
Ooh, that's one that
That's-
that's tempting.
That show is so fucking good, man.
So good.
And then all this hype we've had over the last year and a half of Daredevil Born Again has me in the Daredevil frame of mind. So I've definitely been thinking about it quite a bit.
Hayden said that show made me feel iron fisted.
Yeah, it was not great.
Not great.
And then he says Jessica Jones season 3 is a nice wrap to the story arc. And Jessica
Ooh.
Jones awesome too. She's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Next up, we've got Eternals 2 is apparently being, quote, transformed into another project.
Oh.
No telling what that means. This is just a
Okay.
rumor. But obviously Marvel's been shaking things up.
Yeah.
Also, possibly related, Marvel did do a slew of trademarks, and one of them that they trademarked, which is public record, was Celestials, End of Time. So maybe that could be something that this is involved with. Might be rolling them into a larger element, and it won't just be the Eternals, but they'll be kind of, paired with other things.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy would probably fit well with them.
Yeah.
Thor.
Miss Marvel.
Yeah, indeed. Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel, less so, probably. Kamala Khan.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, the Marvels in general, because you got one that's in the alternate universe now.
Yeah,
Rambo.
That's true.
So-
That's true. So yeah, no idea what that might entail, but
Yeah.
we'll have to keep an eye out on that.
Maybe that's where Captain Marvel goes to try and get Rambo back, as she goes to the Eternals.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, if there's anyone that's going to know how to travel to alternate dimensions and stuff, it might be them.
yeah,
So
it's true.
maybe they have to go beat up a Celestial to do it.
Oh, and also in my mind, I wonder, is Juggernaut, or not Juggernaut? I'm sorry.
I was like, I'm a Juggernaut, bitch.
I was just watching the cartoon.
Yeah.
Which he's in quite a bit.
yeah.
Galactus is what I meant.
Galactus. That's a good one.
Galactus.
That would be a good.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Four are now being introduced.
Yep.
And Galactus.
We got castings for them. I haven't been on since we had that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
indeed. Can't wait for that.
Hells
man.
yeah.
I'm so excited for that. Next up, we got. I just wanted to recap some of the Oscar happenings. So Godzilla one that I was heavily cheering for, won
Yeah.
best visual effects, which is awesome because Godzilla has never won an Oscar in his 70 years of existence.
Attaboy.
So that he just got his first Oscar. I love that. There's been some people who have animated an actual Godzilla
Yeah.
getting a statue, which is great.
I still haven't seen that.
It's really good. It's coming out on disc pretty soon.
it?
I'll definitely be getting it. So
You have to let me borrow it.
yeah, indeed. Also, Oppenheimer cleaned up. I was cheering for
Obviously.
Oppenheimer. 7 Oscars. Robert Downey Jr. got Best Supporting Actor.
Deserved, too. That
Very
was a
deserved.
great
Yeah.
role.
Ludwig Göransson won Best Score for Oppenheimer as well. This is just the Oppenheimer wins. Ludwig, I was kind of cheering for because most people discovered him through The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to now move up into the realm where, hey, Hans Zimmer is doing Dune, so he doesn't want to do. There you go. So he doesn't want to. He couldn't do Nolan, which he normally does Nolan's films.
Yeah.
So Ludwig stepped in and just won himself an Oscar. Oppenheimer also won Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Lead Actor for Cillian Murphy. Very excited for him for that. I think that was well deserved too.
Yeah.
Nolan won Best Director, and then the film took Best Picture. So
Yeah.
I was heavily cheering for that. The only one that didn't go my way was Lady Gladstone for Killer of the Flower Moon. I was really hoping she would win Best Actress, but she did not.
Who won Best Actress?
Um,
Do you remember?
I don't remember offhand. I saw it, but now I'm forgetting. Emma Stone's in my head, but I don't even know if she was nominated. I think I might just be pulling that name out of my ass.
Emma Stone, Poor Things.
Oh, really? Okay. So I guess I wasn't pulling it out of my ass.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Hayden says that score is brilliant. Yes, I agree. The Oppenheimer score, I've listened to it probably more than any other score this year. Also, bit of trivia. Oppenheimer is the first box office smash hit to win an Oscar in 20 years.
Wow.
Do you know what the last one was?
Lord of the Rings.
Yep, 20 years ago.
I know my history.
I
know that Lord of the Rings came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Return of the King came out in 2004 when we were seniors.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
20 years, Tad.
Yep,
In
indeed.
a couple months, it's been 20 years since we graduated high school. God, I feel old.
And Oppenheimer brought in just shy of $1 billion at the box office and cleaned up at the Oscars. First time since Lord of the Rings that has done. Usually box office and Oscars are mutually exclusive. So, next up, we've got Christopher Nolan praising Godzilla -1. We already talked about on a previous episode. Spielberg met the director and praised him quite a bit. Said he saw it 3 times.
Wow.
Said he saw it at his house because he's Steven Spielberg and he has access to anything. And then he's like, then I had to go see it in theaters, so he went and saw it in IMAX. And he went and saw it in Dolby 4K or whatever the hell. So now Nolan, and I think this is a quote from the director of Godzilla -1. He says, this is actually a quote from Nolan. He says, I watched Godzilla -1 and I thought it was a tremendous film. I thought it was so exciting. I mean, obviously it's beautifully made. The mechanics of it are so involving. It's so exciting, but also I felt like it had to be a lot of the spirit of your earlier film, the Eternal Zero. It had depth around the issues surrounding the main story. Even though the main story is Godzilla, it's an entertaining and exciting one. There was also wonderful depth to the characters and wonderful sense of history that I really appreciated. And then Yamakaze, the director, asked what Nolan thought of if he did a film in response to Oppenheimer, like maybe a Japanese answer to Oppenheimer. And Nolan said, I can't think of a better director to make a response than director Yamakaze. So I think that's a perfect suggestion. I'm always interested to see what you'll be doing in the future. So just more hype for that. We now have Spielberg and Nolan praising the film. Not that I'm selling it to you, of course. Just well, you know, when you geek out on a movie, it's just fun to see badass filmmakers also digging it. And then next up, I don't know. This actually missed me. This apparently has been known for a while. Did you know that originally Inception was meant as a horror movie? Was going to be developed as a horror movie?
Really?
Yeah. So this was in last episode. There was a quote that we covered on Christopher Nolan saying that he was open to doing a horror movie, and he said he would have to be the right movie, and he'd want it, whatever. He hasn't seen anything that he'd really want to make, but if it were to be done, he says, I love the genre. I'd love to do a horror movie. This is kind of like following up with that. And it's 15 years ago Inception came out, which that's painful to think about. That was 15 years ago. And he says, I was thinking along the lines of a horror movie at first when developing Inception, but eventually it became this project. I was looking for a device whereby the dreams have become important to the story, and I thought that someone could invade your dream space, steal ideas, and that was immensely compelling to me. The concept that dreams feel real while we're in them underlies the whole film. So it's just kind of an interesting thing that
there is a little bit of a horror element there when you look at the I watched Inception recently. That's
really?
one of the movies that I've watched recently. There is a little bit of a horror element, especially with the Ellen Page. I know he's transitioned now, and I don't remember what he calls himself. My wife can help me out with that. But there's a scene where they're in Leonardo DiCaprio's mind.
Oh, and all the people look at her.
The conscious become aware. His subconscious becomes aware of her, and it's just like, oh God, Elliot. Thank you, Elliot Page. Becomes aware of her and just like, it's so freaking creepy.
Yeah.
I could definitely see the horror tones that were intended with Inception there. That you can see it in that scene, and then in a couple other scenes as well, like with his wife.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can see the horror cracking through the surface a bit. Also, hello Alan. Alan joined us. Welcome.
Hey buddy.
Yes, so that is
Surprise,
that.
Alan.
So that kind of brings us into like the little subsection for horror films.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but this is obviously some massive news. Neve Campbell has just announced recently that she is back for Scream 7.
Is she really?
She is.
Let's go.
Indeed. So there's also, I'm going to warn you up front, there's another tiny nugget of news hidden inside of her post as well.
Okay, I'm
So
listening.
she posted this. She says, "Hi all, I'm excited to announce this news. Sidney Prescott is coming back." Multiple exclamation points. It's always been such a blast and an honor to get to play Sidney in the Scream movies. My appreciation for these films and what they have meant to me has never waned. I'm very happy and proud to say I've been asked in the most respectful way, key in on that there, because previously we know that they were lowballing her money-wise, and she said it was disrespectful. So I love that she's now saying that they've been asked, and she's been asked in the most respectful ways, basically meaning a Brinks truck or 2 or 3 were backed up into her driveway, which, hey, she deserves every fucking penny.
She got paid.
And she says to bring Sidney back to the screen, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Well, actually, I could. And then she says, while I've been so incredibly lucky to make these films with both the master of horror Wes Craven and the wonderfully talented Matt and Tyler team, I've dreamt for many years on how amazing it would be to make one of these movies with Kevin Williamson at the helm.
Ooh.
So Kevin Williamson, of course, is the creator of Scream. He's the one that wrote the original script called Scary Movie.
Okay.
And he wrote the script that Wes Craven ended up directing, and so he's
that became Scream.
Scary Movie became Scream. Wes Craven direct. Kevin Williamson, though, he's the yin to the yang of Wes Craven. Always has been.
Oh, okay.
She says so, and now
He's the I just spaced on his name. Director of Halloween.
John Carpenter.
He's the John Carpenter to the Deborah Hill.
Yes.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then she says, and now it's happening. Kevin Williamson is going to be directing Scream 7.
Dude!
So that's huge.
I got really, really excited there for a second. I don't know if you saw it out of the corner of your eye, but I thought she was about to announce that she was going to direct it. And I was going to be like, dude, I'm there. Oh, dude. I would so be there if Neve Campbell was given the helm to direct a Scream movie.
I mean, hey, just give her the money, let her come back
let
and
her
be
do it.
Sidney.
Yeah.
You still have Gail.
I'm so excited.
Still
No, don't get me
around,
wrong.
so.
I'm so excited. I just got a little bit excited that she was going to direct it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's happened before where actors have turned into directors and they've, but then there's been really good ones. I mean, Clint Eastwood did a phenomenal job with a couple of his
Ron
movies.
Howard.
Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck has done a couple good movies, you know, so.
Yep.
And if anyone knows Scream better than Neve Campbell, show me them.
Wes is dead, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no. Then she goes on, says this was his baby, and it's his brilliant mind that dreamt this world. Kevin is not just an inspiration as an artist, but it's been a dear friend for many years. To the amazing Scream fans, I hope you're as excited as I am. See you on set at Kevin Williamson. So,
Woo!
yeah, so Scream 7 is back from the dead.
That's awesome.
You know, after all the shenanigans that happened, didn't look like it was going to happen, but you know, with all that, I guess the silver lining is that Neve is finally getting what she deserves and is back. So
awesome.
Can't wait for that. Next up, we've got an interesting.
Oh yeah, my wife mentioned John Krasinski's another one that has directed. Dude, Quiet Place.
Good, good call. Good call. This next one, Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, and Austin Butler join Ari Aster for his next film.
Oh my God.
The film is titled Eddington, and it is being called, quote, a dark Western noir comedy.
Just hook it to my veins!
I'm there.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm there.
And then I have a quote from Mr. Astor. He says, for like 5 years, I was trying to get that Western noir dark ensemble comedy going, although it's sort of a, I don't know if you'd call it a revisionist Western. It's contemporary. One foot is in the Western and one foot's even more heavily in the noir genre. So it's like a film noir ensemble dark comedy. So like... I just with Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, and Austin Butler.
Yeah,
yes. Sign me the fuck up, please. Yes, that'd be great.
My wife says totally off topic, but she just beat the final boss in the Cult of the Lamb video game just now. Well done, well done.
Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah,
is that like weird, creepy people wearing lamb masks and?
No, you're a lamb and you have a cult.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I can make some jokes about who the boss might be, but I won't do it. I don't know. All right. Speaking of lambs, actually.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
No. Robert De Niro recently revealed that he almost starred in Silence of the Lambs.
Did he really?
He says the only one that I didn't, and I think he's talking about roles that he ended up not doing. I was taking so long to think about it as the famous one that Anthony Hopkins wound up doing. It was with Jonathan Demme, and obviously not thinking of the title, but he says, yeah, Silence of the Lambs. I could have played that part. So apparently he was offered the role of Hannibal Lecter.
Holy cow.
Speaking of lambs, of course.
Yeah.
And he says, but I waited so long, and I was thinking, I was like, just give me a little longer. He just cast it. I don't regret it. That's just what happened. So he's somewhat incoherent in these quotes. I don't feel very, he's certainly not a writer. He's an actor.
He's up there in age. Let's cut him some slack.
But it does sound like potentially he wanted a little bit more time, maybe because of another project.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Demme didn't want to wait. I mean, let's be honest, though.
Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, and Hannibal Lecter is Anthony Hopkins.
I will say, though, Cape Fear, De Niro can pull off a horror
He can pull off a psychopath
character for
so.
sure. Not to mention like Bickle from Taxi Driver. He's done some good stuff, and I'm never gonna doubt De Niro. But yeah, Anthony Hopkins, like that's kind of like
we'll never know.
It's like Kathy Bates. Like she's just that is Annie Wilkes. Like I'd never want to consider another person. In that role.
We'll never know.
Next up, we've got a Leprechaun reboot.
Yes, Hayden, you hear that?
Is coming out, and it is aiming to be, quote, scary as hell and hilarious.
Yes.
So I hope Warwick Davis can suit back up and play said Leprechaun.
Hopefully he gets killed by it.
No, he was the Leprechaun.
I know, but you got to pass the torch. So have someone else step in.
Have a new Leprechaun.
My wife says I love that description.
I would of course say what's his name, Peter Dinklage, but I don't think that would happen.
No.
Although he is playing in that Toxic Avengers movie, so I don't think he completely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Leprechaun in the Hood. I want to watch with Hayden.
Oh yeah,
just Leprechaun is great too, but Leprechaun in the Hood,
the baseball
bat out of the afro is one of the greatest cinematic moments in the history of all film. All right, so that is it for the horror realm. Next up, we have Greta Gerwig apparently is now open to doing a Barbie 2.
All right.
She has been pretty much her as well as the lead actor. What's her name?
Margot Robbie
have both said that, like, no, this is it. Like, this is what we meant to do. We left it all on the tables type stuff. But it seems like over time, Greta Gerwig's tone is changing a bit. And it sounds like they may be open to it because obviously it was a smash hit.
I wonder how much number was written on that piece of paper and slid across the table.
Or the fact that she got snubbed.
Maybe that's what it was. She wants to come back for one.
Didn't even get nominated for an Oscar, let alone win one.
Didn't get nominated?
I don't think she did, no.
Shame.
Yeah, indeed.
Hayden just puts dollar signs in the chat.
Next up, we've got a rumor that Scarlett Johansson has been offered the role in the lead role in the Jurassic World reboot.
Wait, they're rebooting it?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I've written this franchise off, but I will say they're tempting me.
Okay.
Because the writer of the original Jurassic Park is coming back for this.
Okay.
I don't think he's written one since the original.
And they're rebooting Jurassic World.
I don't know why they're calling it Jurassic World. That's the thing I don't get. But I don't know. And Scarlett Johansson's great, so I don't know. I think there's something else too. I think Spielberg's back to like produce, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it'd be interesting though because have we had a female lead in the Jurassic Parks? Because it feels like it's always been like kind of whether it be a co-lead or just a supporting character. I don't think we've really had a female lead in the franchise. So I don't know, man. I'm so beaten down on this franchise. I skipped the last one, and like I pretty much said that unless like we see like Mad Max reviews of like this is one of the greatest movies ever made. It's a 95% out of 100. I'm probably not going to find my way back into a theater for a Jurassic Park movie. But
all because one Velociraptor said, "Alan."
No, I stuck with it longer than that. I watched the first two Jurassic World movies, but that last one after the second Jurassic World movie, I'm like, dude, what the fuck's the point? And then they tried to tempt me back by bringing the original 3 for the next one, but I was just like, I'm not going to get trapped, and I didn't see it.
I should go watch those. I haven't watched. I only watched the first one.
Yeah.
I never watched the second or third one.
You know the best part of the second one? They show in the trailer. There's a volcano going off and shit. And
that's the third one, isn't it?
No, second one. They're loading all these dinosaurs up on a ship and stuff. They're taking off, and there's a long neck that they left.
Oh,
and it's just sitting there watching the ship go away, like howling in its sad voice as the lava's coming toward it. It's glorious. It's so great, dude. I laughed. It was so funny.
You are just the worst. You know that? Good Lord, you are so terrible.
Isn't that what Long Necks are for? Is to die? Littlefoot's mom taught us.
Don't bring up the generational trauma, Tad. Don't bring it up.
Oh, to be
Wow.
continued on that note. There might be
There's more generational trauma coming up.
maybe.
Oh boy.
Next up, rumor as well. Aaron Taylor Johnson apparently has been offered the role of James Bond.
I heard that one.
Nothing official if it's been accepted or not, but yeah, that'd be interesting. Of course, the new James Bond is in the midst of being cast right now, so hopefully that'll be announced before too long. But the rumor is that he has been offered the role. Other people have been offered the role. I just saw something recently where Hugh Jackman was offered the role back in the day.
Yeah.
For Casino Royale, apparently.
Really?
I mean, I think it was offered him before the script was there. And then I can't remember. He said he talked to someone, and they're just like, man, you just started this X-Men stuff. It's like, you got to really be certain that they're going to be doing good things. Otherwise, you're just going to spend the next 10 years bouncing back and forth between the two, and your life's going to get really miserable if they're not great. He's like, so I turned it down. He's like, then a year or so later, Casino Royale came out. I was like, damn.
Damn. I missed the spot.
I can't imagine him as Bond, though.
No.
That's a hard one for me. Like,
He's not British, is he?
yeah. Oh, he's
Australian.
Yeah. As long as it's part of the empire.
As part of the empire, that it's okay.
I think people.
My name is Bond.
Because
James Bond.
Pierce was, I think he's from Wales. I think.
And Sean Connery's Scottish. So,
yeah.
I mean,
So yeah, exactly. It's not a hard and fast rule. They have to be, Buckingham Palace English.
I was thinking of Harry Potter. That was one of the roles that she had when they were making the films for the first time. Is that they had to be English actors.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
You couldn't have guys like Tom Hanks playing in Harry
Well,
Potter.
I mean, famously, back in the day, they refused to allow Spielberg to direct because he wasn't British.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to direct a Bond film, which, can you imagine, Spielberg in the late 70s, early 80s at the height of his power doing a Bond movie?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, him being bummed out about not getting the job, his buddy Lucas called him up and said, I got an idea.
Hey, you ever heard of this guy named Indiana Jones?
So it all worked out. But yes, so they have been very particular, generally speaking. And I don't know if that still carries now, because I think that's still when Cubby Broccoli was alive.
Yeah.
Now it's like his stepkid and wife or whatever. So who knows?
Hayden says, talking about Hugh Jackman, he's convicted British.
Yeah, indeed. Next up, we've got James Gunn moving into the DC realm now, saying that he would love to work with Grant Gustin at some point. Mm-hmm. There's no telling whether this is actually talking about The Flash or not, but Grant Gustin, of course, famous for the Flash show on CW.
Yep.
But James Gunn said, quote, Grant is an incredibly talented guy performing now on Broadway, I believe, and is absolutely not going to waste going to waste just because he's not currently in a DC project. But of course, I'd love to work with him at some point. So, that's interesting. I loved Grant Gustin.
I did too.
I always thought from day one, even before all the crazy shit with the Flash actor, I always thought they should have just brought Grant Gustin in to play the DC EU Flash.
Yeah.
Now this next one is one I'm interested to hear your thoughts on.
All right.
Karen Gillan, which was Nebula, says she wants to play Poison Ivy in the DCU.
Yes.
And not only that, she was asked even further, is there anything you have in mind? And she says, I would love to play Poison Ivy in a relationship with Harley Quinn.
Yes.
I was the same. I'm like,
can we get Margot Robbie back as Harley and get those two together? I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I mean, Tad, if you want to see this, just go watch Harley Quinn, the animated show on Max. That is the plot of that show.
Oh, yeah?
Is Harley leaves Joker and tries to strike out on her own, and she teams up with Ivy, and ta-da!
Yeah. She also, in this interview, I didn't take down the exact quoting, but she basically said if James wants me to play just a background character that just sits there for a scene, I'll do that, because working with him is an incredible joy. So, of course, James always has a lot of loyalty from his people, but Karen Gillan as Poison Ivy, I was like, that's my
wife sums
cool
it up.
thought.
Yes, all the yes. Yeah, if she wants to play Poison Ivy, I would love to see her play Poison Ivy, and I instantly have the perfect story for her to be included. There's a story where she basically mind controls Bruce, not knowing that he's Batman,
Oh yeah.
just to get at his fortune.
Oh okay.
And Catwoman is the one that comes and saves him. So, fuck yes.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to see that, whether it's in the Batman universe or in the other Batman.
Yeah,
that
the
they're doing.
DCU. Yeah.
The DCU that they're doing. I would
Yeah.
absolutely love to see her play. Because imagine that you start off. Imagine if the Batman 2 starts off with him not being Batman
Yeah.
and doing all this crazy shit as Bruce Wayne, and he comes home and steps into a flower and it closes, and you just see Poison Ivy wrapping her arms. We kind of get a shot of that in the Long Halloween Part 2, the animated film. That's how the movie starts. It's the Part 2. It starts with him being mind controlled by Poison Ivy. It's like,
Yeah.
there's also a thing, if we're going to go to the DCU, there's a part where Poison Ivy gets recruited by Lex Luthor to go mind control freaking Superman, and she does. She comes up with a kryptonite-based plant that mind controls Superman, and Batman has to go rescue him. Absolutely. She would be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was in love with the idea, but I was curious what you would think.
I'm kind of in love with her. I mean,
Next one, not happy news, but you might already know. I better push the button before I change this. Okay, the Batman 2 has been delayed.
oh.
It is moved from 2025 to 2026. And yeah, sad news. It moved from October 3rd, 2025 to October 2nd, 2026. So 364 days.
I gotta go fix my fucking countdown.
No telling as to why. I mean, of course, the strikes, everything else. But hey, you did see the Penguin trailer, didn't you?
I did.
That looked pretty great.
Looks so
I'm pretty excited for that one.
October 2nd, 2026?
Yeah, October 2nd, 2026. Which does that make sense? Because if that, say it's a Friday, isn't the
That's a Friday.
second, would that still be a Friday? Or doesn't the dates work the other way?
No, the 2nd's a Friday.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that, so October 3rd, 2025 was a Friday too?
I'm looking at a calendar. October 3rd is a Friday.
Oh, okay.
And then October 2nd is a Friday.
I'm conflating it in my head. I was thinking
yeah,
the numbers would go
it
the okay.
moves one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, we've got apparently a.
Damn, that sucks. I just went from 599 days to 923 days. God damn it.
Also on the slide, I don't know if you saw the little subtitle was.
Yeah,
sorry,
I saw it.
So next up,
God damn it, Ted. No crowbars allowed.
apparently there's a live-action Teen Titans movie in development at the DCU.
The crowbars don't happen in Teen Titans, sir. Jason is not a part of the Teen Titans.
Robin's
That's
a
Dick-
Robin.
That's Dick Grayson. Come on, get your Robins right.
A Robin. What do we?
What are we doing here?
I did see a reel where it was an animated one, and it was a Robin talking to a Batman, and he's like, the Batman doesn't know who he is.
Which one are you?
No, he doesn't know him at all. He's like, there is no Robin in that universe, apparently.
Oh.
And then he's like, yeah, like my, and he tells him like the story, and he's familiar with the Flying Graysons.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, then they died, and or I think Batman even knew about that, but in that universe, like, he never, whatever. He's like, yeah, then I became like your partner, your sidekick, whatever. He's like, that seems really irresponsible. I was like, oh, I love it. At least calling it out.
That's I think that's an injustice.
And then next up, this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Playing Batman would be an honor, says Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he famously lost out on the role in 2005.
Yeah.
He was the the runner-up to Christian Bale.
I wish you would have got it.
Yeah, he'd be a great Batman, dude. So apparently the door is still open. That he is still.
I want it.
He is still open to being Batman.
Give me Batman.
So we talked about generational trauma.
Oh no, here we go.
The Never-Ending Story is going to be adapted to a series of films.
Oh no.
So Artex will be destroyed.
What's the wolf's name again?
Gmork. Evil motherfucker.
Yeah.
Also, when it says a series of films, that goes along with Never-Ending, right? Just keep making sequels.
Keep going. Like Land Before Time. That's what they did with that.
I feel like those finally stopped, though. I feel
Did
like
they?
I feel like I haven't heard of one in at least 10, 15 years.
How many did they make?
Probably 75 would be my guess. Next up, let's see here. Boondock Saints is getting another sequel. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've heard about this.
I did.
From Thunder Road, which is the company that did John Wick. So
Yes.
that is some good stuff. Norman Reedus, Sean Patrick Flannery will return, although Troy Duffy will not be directing. I think that might be for the best. 14 movies,
They
Jesus
made
Christ.
14 Land Before Times. The last one was in 2016.
Oh, my God.
The Land Before Time 14, Journey of the Brave.
Jesus Christ. I hope there's an asteroid in it. Next up, Greg Daniels is apparently creating a new series in the Office universe.
All right.
He says that it has been confirmed it is not a reboot, but it is probably likely going to be new characters, potentially in another Office, but in that universe. So, very interesting. Greg Daniels is, of course, one of the primary people behind that, so that is the right person to be involved.
As long as there's no Scott's Tots.
Next up, we're into the Star Wars realm now. The last stretch of news here. The first one, bad news. EA is killing a Mandalorian game that was being developed. You would have been playing an unnamed Mandalorian character, and it would have been a first-person shooter. So you want to be even more disappointed, upset, angered?
Lay it on me.
The rumor is one of the main reasons it was killed is because there are no Jedi and no lightsabers.
I'm gonna.
And EA says that will not be popular. So let's go ahead and kill that. So my last note here, fuck EA. I hope to see that company laid to ash at some point. I mean, I know that's hoping against hope, but
That.
well played. Well played indeed.
God, that is. Have they not heard of the Mandalorian?
I
Have they not?
yeah.
I mean, Bad Batch? No?
Yeah, I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, no?
Rogue One
Rogue One?
had like 10 seconds of lightsaber.
Han Solo? Solo the movie?
Solo, yeah.
No?
Yeah.
No?
Love
Yeah.
that one because Chewie's in chains. So.
You shut your whore mouth.
I just rewatched that not too long ago, actually, for the first time in ages. So that was kind of a.
You're bad.
That's the rumor. Next up, Anthony Daniels talks about his Ahsoka cameo, and he apparently had a Easter egg he tried to throw in, but it was deleted out of the show, and I can see why. So he says, Dave Filoni and I had a script conference on Zoom. Basically, the scene was 3PO walking in, saying something, and then walks out. If you ever watch that scene again, 3PO comes in, back of the set, and there's two guards. I came up with the line, which I totally stole from episode 4, with Sir Alec Guinness. I tell the guards, you don't need to see my identification, and that was a straight steal. But then he goes on to say, I get it was kind of on the nose, so I could see why they deleted it. But
Yeah.
I love Anthony Daniels, dude. He's
That's
just
awesome.
he's a fucking he's a gem.
He is.
Next up, Christopher Walken apparently auditioned for Han Solo. Not only that, not too long ago we heard Jodie Foster interviewed, and she said she auditioned for Leia and turned
Yeah.
it down because she had a Disney commitment. Apparently, the screen test that Christopher Walken did was with Jodie Foster.
Wow.
So the what ifs.
Jodie Foster would have been like.
Leia.
No, she would have been like 16?
I don't know.
Because she was like 14 in Taxi Driver, right? And that was
Yeah.
like 73, 74?
She should have been a little bit older, but certainly, yeah.
76. 76.
76 is when they filmed it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it came out.
What?
Taxi Driver.
Oh, that's when Star Wars would have filmed. So, yeah.
76. Yeah, she would have been 14 in filming.
Yeah,
Star
I
Wars.
think I talked about that a bit when
Yeah.
when we talked about her with that interview, because I remember thinking that like she's actually a bit younger than Carrie was. So
Yeah.
certainly would have lost the twin element.
Yeah.
And then he says, I think it was for Han Solo. This is a quote from Christopher Walken. I'm not going to do a Christopher Walken impersonation. He says, yes, I auditioned for it. And if I'm not mistaken, my partner in the audition I think it was true. It was Jodie Foster. I think we did a screen test. I'm not sure. We did a scene. Maybe we just sat in front of in those days, old video cameras. I auditioned for Star Wars, but so did like 500 other actors. It was a lot of people doing that. So again, just kind of one of those interesting what ifs of the world.
Yeah, because isn't the story how they found Harrison is that he was a carpenter
working for
Lucas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were using him to like, hey, come on here and read lines to go with someone else, right?
Yeah, like we have a Leia audition. We don't have anyone to read a
can
solo.
you just do it?
Can you just read it?
Yeah, and then at first, like someone.
I mean, because he acted. He
Yeah.
was in American Graffiti.
Yeah, and that's
everything.
ultimately what it was. Is somebody even at some point told Lucas, "Hey, you should just consider this guy for the role." He's like,
Look how good he is.
He's like, no, he's like, because there's someone that was using Robert Duvall a lot, and he's like, I don't want him to become my Robert Duvall, where he's in all my movies. So no, I'm not. He's not getting the part, type thing. So, yeah. And then the next one, I don't know if you've heard about this or not. If you haven't, this will be fun. Patty Jenkins is working on Rogue Squadron again.
What?
She is.
Don't give me hope.
She is returned. So
don't give me hope.
got a quote here. She says, "So when I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3, I thought maybe I'd come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3. So we did a deal for that to happen. Started a deal, but then I thought I was doing Wonder Woman. When that went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we got to finish this deal. We finished the deal right as the strike was happening. So now I owe a draft of Star Wars to Lucasfilm. So we will see what happens there. Who knows? She says it's hard. They have a hard job in front of them on what the first movies they're going to do after the last trilogy. They have other directors who have been working, but right now, I am now, I'm back doing Rogue Squadron, and we'll see what happens. We need to develop, and get to where we're both happy with it. So it is no longer a dead project, sir.
It's dead.
She's working on a goddamn
She's
script.
working on a script that has no approval.
Because I mean, they're ultimately excited. The only reason it fell apart is because she had to go for Wonder Woman, and since that all fell apart, I don't even know if it's silver lining because Wonder Woman 2 was not great in my opinion. So I wasn't necessarily looking forward to Wonder Woman 3 too heavily.
I'm not getting my hopes up.
Really?
No, I'm not getting my hopes up just to have them dashed again. I'm not doing it.
Oh man.
Can't make me.
Next up, Jake Lloyd's mom has offered an update on him. So just to recap, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then she's just did an interview recently. It was kind of cool to hear an update about him and his condition. So she talked about his psychotic break. She says he said he wanted to turn the car off, and he turned the car off in the middle of the 3 lanes, and we were right in the middle lane. There was a lot of yelling and screaming. The police got there and they asked Jake some questions. He talked to them, but none of it made sense. It was a word salad. So he is now 10 months into an 18-month stay at a mental health rehab center. And she says he's doing much better than I expected. He's relating to people better and becoming a little bit more social, which is really nice. It's kind of like having more of the old Jake back because he had always been an incredibly social until he became schizophrenic. Then she goes on another thing here talking about Ahsoka. She says he loves all the new Star Wars stuff. People think Jake hates Star Wars, but he loves it. And she mentions that he especially loved the Ahsoka series, and she bought him a bunch of action figures from Ahsoka.
Aww.
So that's pretty cool.
That's great to hear.
There's been a lot of talk as well that Star Wars potentially caused these issues for him, but she puts that to bed and says it would have happened anyway. They're pretty sure it was genetic. And his psychiatrist also agrees that Jake was going to become schizophrenic no matter what. She says, I protected him from the backlash. He was just riding his bike outside playing with his friends. He didn't know anything that was going on the internet. He didn't care. Everyone makes such a big deal about that. And it's rather annoying to me because Jake was just a little kid when that came out. And he didn't really feel all that stuff because I didn't let him online. People say he quit acting because of Star Wars. Well, that's not true. It didn't have anything to do with Star Wars. It had more to do with our family. We were going through a divorce. Things were unsettled and kind of rough, and Jake didn't seem like he had that much fun auditioning anymore. So that's a good update too. So
that's good to hear that he's getting the help that he needs. I hope that he comes out of this better.
Indeed. Then the last one, and the reason that I guess I didn't mention on this show yet, but I am delaying the May 4th episode, which is sad on this show more specific because May the 4th. But the next topic here, the entire Skywalker saga is returning to theaters on May 4th.
Oh my God, is it really?
Yes. I don't know if they're doing independent showings because what I signed up for is literally one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other.
I've never seen 4 in theaters, or 5 or 6.
Yeah. So this quote, Lucasfilm announced today that in celebration of the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, fans will have a chance to experience the entire Skywalker saga in theaters on May 4th, also known as Star Wars Day. This includes all 9 episodic films in chronological order: The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. So here in Utah, it is at the Sandy Megaplex. So at least that I found. That's the ticket I got. So, yeah. So I will be unavailable for an episode that day. So we will be moving the May 4th episode to May 11th. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then Hayden says, I think it's important that mental health issues are being addressed. The stigma around them is dwindling. I totally agree. He says, I hope that Jake gets better. Indeed.
Absolutely.
Totally agreed. All right. So next up, we are going to the main topic.
Hang on, I got to buy tickets to Star Wars.
So the main topic today was originally going to be Star Trek: The Next Generation, but of course, with Peter here,
Hey, what's up?
I changed it up. I guess I need to get my thing over to this show and not Dark Tower Palaver, my little button thing.
Star Wars. They only have episode 1.
Yeah, that the others are all part of this this marathon, as far as I know.
It just says Star Wars episode 1. It says 2 hours and 11 minutes. I'm going to have to do further research to that, because if I get to see the original trilogy, if I get to see my favorite movie in theaters for the first time, I want to do it.
Yeah. All right. So
'Kay.
we decided to do a discussion topic that we've had on the list forever, pretty much.
Yes.
And I was funny a few weeks, maybe a month or so ago, I was looking over the list, and I saw some of these, and I was like, that'd be a fun discussion. I'm like, but I gotta have that with Peter, though.
Yeah.
Can't do that alone. So we have changed it up. We're gonna do top 10 lightsaber duels.
Yeah.
And this counts movies and television. I don't think we're counting video games or anything. I certainly didn't. But that's the discussion. So ultimately, how are you going to define it? Because this is very subjective. There's people that would look at it from this choreography. Some people look at it from the emotion, the storytelling. People have all different ways of grading it. How are you grading it, I guess, would be my question.
Honestly, it's which ones had the most impact on me is what
Okay.
I did, is like historic kind of thing. There is some newer stuff on here, but they've made an impact on me.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why it's on there. So
impact in terms of emotional a little bit more.
emotional a little
Okay.
bit more than like the choreography versus like is still a part of it, because spoiler alert, Obi-Wan versus Vader episode 4 did not make the list.
Didn't make mine either.
It is one of the most bland lightsaber fights in the entire galaxy, so let's just be honest. Choreography and like how cool the fight is does play a part of it, but mostly it's story
Yeah.
for me, like the emotional element and stuff like that for me. And I can go into it a little bit more with each one. So
Okay. So mine's largely the same. Choreography is not the biggest thing to me. It's definitely cool. But for me, the emotion, the storytelling, and just like stuff I love, man. My favorites type stuff. So I am going to move us over to another screen here where we're little tiny bubbles. And we have our little sides of the screen, because I did want to do it visually and have
do it.
images along with it. So let's go ahead and dive right in at number 10. Who you want to go first?
you want me to go first? All right. My first one is Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
The conclusion fight, the final showdown between these two. It had been going for years. I mean, Obi-Wan in episode 1 was a teenager the first time they fought, and you can see here like he's an old man and everything. It is not the longest duel in the world.
It's so good though.
But it's so good. The tension, the story, and everything having a conclusion to the Darth Maul character.
What did you expect when you first watched the
honestly
episode?
expected them to cut away and us not to see anything.
Okay, so you weren't disappointed at
No,
all.
I was not
Because
disappointed.
there were some people that thought it would actually be like a knockout,
Yeah.
drag out, and it's one swipe.
One hit. Obi-Wan absolutely outclasses him, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, spoiler alerts for these duels. If you haven't
this is
seen
all
them.
this is all spoiler for
Yeah.
sure.
So Obi-Wan absolutely baiting Maul with the Qui-Gon and everything.
It's so good.
It's so
And then
good.
Maul tries the move.
And Maul tries the move, and Obi-Wan fucking owns him. It's peak Obi-Wan right here.
And I would say this actually does a lot to help the Episode 4 duel because one of two things. Neither of them are at the same peak they used to be.
Right.
But also they're both masters at this point.
Yeah.
And now it's not jumps, flips, all this kind of shit. Now it's
the
like
flashy stuff.
now it's two masters that know
Yep.
each other so well, and now we obviously know they had more than just that one duel, right? We had another duel that's popped
and
up.
obviously Obi-Wan wasn't trying to win that duel. He wasn't going out to kill Vader. He wasn't going out to defeat Vader. He was going out to stall Vader, is the big thing with the Episode 4 fight. So that's the reason why Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul makes my list here at number 10.
Okay, so mine. Oh, I didn't even realize it, but mine is actually the same. Didn't
really?
Didn't even realize that actually. I was like worried that I'd fucked up the picture somehow. Then I looked at my list. Oh God, that is mine.
That is my 10th.
Okay. Yeah, I for all the reasons you mentioned. I was a little bit slightly disappointed that it wasn't a little bit more bigger at first.
Yeah.
But then when I really watched it and analyzed it, I was like, this is fucking masterful,
Yeah,
man.
once you realize the mind game that Obi-Wan does on Darth Maul, it's like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense.
But
He
also-
absolutely baited him.
Yeah, and also there's the Kurosawa. I think it might be Seven Samurai. There's one of his samurai movies where like there's the samurai master, and he's just sitting there with his sword in front of him in its like sheath or whatever, his katana, and this other young brash, fucking guy is doing monkey flips and all this crazy shit, and then he goes to like attack the guy, and the dude just does one swipe, and the guy's fucking dead. Like,
Oh,
just
dude, that's awesome.
because he's this master. Like it's
Yeah.
like you could do all your fucking bullshit, but I'm
There's a video going around that has gone around over the years. It's an older video, like 2000s, where it's like a kickboxing, but it's like street. It might even be a movie.
Yeah.
The guy's doing like flips and flexing and everything like that, and then he jumps at the guy, and the guy just fucking uppercuts him or something. One hit knockout. It's like that.
Yeah.
Like instant, and that's what Obi-Wan does here.
Yeah. And yeah, for me also, not just the duel, but the immediate aftermath. Obi-Wan
comforts
cradling,
him, yeah.
and even giving hope to Darth Maul. I love that. And also the mirroring of Satine as well, that died in Obi-Wan's arms like that.
Yep.
So Obi-Wan is, because of Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So it's I feel like it really reflects the Jedi mentality. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I love this duel. It's incredible. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Go back and forth, or you want me to go first every time?
Let me see here. We can go back and forth. That works.
Just don't want to mess you up too much.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out my buttons properly. All right, so yeah, let's jump on over to number 9. Number 9 for me is Luke versus Kylo in The Last Jedi.
Okay.
I love this, dude. Because again, it's the same kind of thing as that last one. It's the Jedi Master thing, because it's like ultimately we end up finding out Luke's not even there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, even if he was there. Like until he gave up and let Kylo think he got him.
Yeah.
Like Kylo wasn't fucking touching him.
Nope.
He's limboing and he's like fucking taunting him. Like just,
Yeah.
I love it. And then to find out that Luke is fucking force projecting across the fucking galaxy,
Yeah.
like just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, dude. I love it so much. And I mean, it's funny because in retrospect, we should have known because we saw the Youngling Slayer 5000 destroyed like 20 minutes before, and then Luke has that lightsaber, so we really should have noticed. First time watching, dude, I absolutely didn't fucking notice. I don't know about you, but I didn't. I was so in it that then after like I think it was like on a rewatch, I'm like, oh, he's got that lightsaber.
Yeah, he's got that
should have been
lightsaber.
the green one.
Yeah.
Like so, but I love this because the emotion, like the back and forth.
The dusting himself off after the AT-AT shoot at him.
Oh
and
yeah.
everything.
Also, I love the subversion where he's like, are you here to to save me or apologize for failing me? And he's like, no. So he doesn't play the normal Jedi, like whatever. Like it's not trying to like redeem him or whatever. It's just no. He's ultimately we find out he's distracting, but
Yeah.
Also, it's beautiful. It's beautifully shot.
The
And
salt planet or whatever.
yeah,
it is.
yeah, great. And then I love like Kylo, like Adam Driver's acting. I was just talking to somebody at work about it recently. Adam Driver, I think, is there's some good acting in the sequel trilogy, but I think Adam Driver's the MVP, right?
Criminally underrated,
It's so fucking good in that trilogy, man. He does an incredible job. So,
Hayden says it's a cool example of how powerful Luke is when he's using force projection across the galaxy, like you said.
Exactly, and that's what I love about it too, because it does ultimately where everyone was like, like kind of bitching and moaning even after the fact. Oh well, Luke should be this, this master, and like he should just.
He is. He force projected across the freaking solar, the galaxy.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
he is.
Yeah. So I and of course we see and they set it up with the whole connection with Rey and Kylo and stuff, but ultimately Luke doesn't have that, so he just projects himself. Projects his essence, and that's pretty cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So. What do you got for number 9? And I do apologize. I'm sure Hayden's gritting his teeth a little bit. I did all these independently, so now that I'm looking at it, but also looking at in terms of independent, I did all of mine, and I did all of yours.
Oh, okay.
So they're not necessarily like the same size, and I'm sure Hayden as a designer is a little bit perturbed. So go ahead with your number 9.
He did it on purpose, Hayden. I know he did.
It's actually bothering me a tiny bit. So
my number 9 is Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Vader in the show Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
You get younger Obi-Wan versus peak Vader. Would be argued. Is this peak Vader? Is peak Vader episode 3?
3.
You can make an argument both sides,
because I believe the living force is going to be more powerful through a more living person. So I think once Vader lost all of his limbs, I think he lost a step.
You can make that argument, but you can also make an argument that he's just even more powerful now because he has a more deeper connection to the dark side here and everything. He does things here that he's never done in any other fight, throwing fucking giant-ass boulders and everything.
I think he's mastered the dark side far more now than he would have had in 3.
Exactly.
But I think 3, in terms of force potential, he's way more powerful in 3. And I think there's an element of, like, buyer's remorse with Palpatine once he sees Vader after Mustafar. Because it's like, well, now you're never going to be as powerful as you could have been. Like, and that's why when Luke shows up, he's like, cool, I'm trading this fucker in.
Yeah, upgrade.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the fight is phenomenal. It's great to see Obi-Wan overcome Vader without using the dark side.
Yeah.
It's one of the very few times that you see a Jedi batter a Sith without utilizing anger. I mean, episode 1, we were talking about it earlier with Maul and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan absolutely channels anger and the dark side to beat Maul.
Yeah.
Luke does it in episode 6. This is one of the very few times that you can absolutely see a true Jedi beat a true Sith. Not an Inquisitor, not a little peon, a Sith. This is a Sith fucking master here. And he gets the better of Vader without using the dark side.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenally choreographed, great visual effects, and then the lines from Anakin.
The emotion.
Oh, the emotion with it. And then my friend is truly dead. And then when you get the split, which dude, call back to Rebels there with that.
And they're both sides.
Uh-huh.
Rebels is one side, Obi's is the other.
Yep.
So it's like, and what are the two people that could potentially bring Anakin out?
Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. Yep.
Until the children are found, right? Like that changes everything. But ultimately it's
until Luke and Leia, he discovers that they lived and everything.
Yeah.
Then,
I saw someone like trying to like debate whether like, why did Palpatine immediately call Cody first? Why wasn't it just a broadcast to every clone? I'm like, are you guys that dumb? Like, he fucking knows that Obi-Wan is the biggest threat.
It's Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi.
And not
it's
just
Anakin's master.
Not just like a threat to his life, but the threat of Anakin changing his mind back is Obi-Wan. Like,
that's the only Obi-Wan, Padme, and Ahsoka are the 3 that can bring him back from the dark side. And who's the one that goes to him on Mustafar?
Yeah.
Padme.
Yeah.
And who goes with her? Obi-Wan. And the
Yeah.
only reason he doesn't come back is because Obi-Wan walks out of her ship.
Yeah, at the wrong time.
At the wrong time.
The worst time, yeah.
At the wrong time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's great. The emotion in that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I couldn't find a really good picture. So I actually had to pull the YouTube video up, and I was just jumping around the video to try to find a picture to put up on screen. And just like at one point I pulled it up and it was one of the lines, and dude, chills.
Oh yeah.
Just and completely out of context. I didn't watch the whole duel. I should have. I just one line.
I did.
And that one line just out of context fucking got me, dude. It was total chills. Like
I know almost every single Star Wars duel on my list, pretty much top to bottom, having watched them multiple times. There was a couple that are newer stuff.
Yeah.
This one's from Is it? I can't remember. Is the
It's
show?
Obi
It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got
Yeah.
mad because it should have just been called Kenobi.
or Ben Kenobi. Yeah.
Or Ben
I mean,
Kenobi,
Kenobi
yeah.
would have been the right title. in my
Kenobi
opinion.
should have been the right title.
Yeah.
But I went through it on when I was making this list and rewatched the duel. Yeah.
so fucking
So
good.
fucking good.
Plus the accident, right? Have you seen that thing where they're interviewing? I can't remember if it's Hayden or Ewan, but the point when Vader's face is lit with the blue lightsaber after his mask is cracked. And then as the line's going, it changes to red.
Like it was an accident.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He's like, it wasn't intentional. We just
It just
we
happened.
had those glowing
Yeah.
things which we never had before. We didn't have those in previous movies. It's like, and suddenly this magic happens.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan always has blue on his face. I remember. I acknowledge that.
I almost still don't
clicked.
I almost don't believe it still because it transitions right as the
It's
line is
so-
it's
I
perfection.
killed it. Like right around there. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. All right. So my number
My number 8.
what?
You went first on this one,
Oh.
so we're going to number 8, which I go evens first.
Okay. Let's see. So. All right. So we're doing your number
8.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
So my number 8 is Ahsoka versus Anakin / Vader in the show Ahsoka,
All right. That's
which is on my list simply for one shot. Where he comes out and he flexes and becomes Vader and then transitions back. That one shot alone deserves to be on every single duel list. I don't care who you are. That is one of the coolest fucking pieces of cinematography, special effects that I've seen in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It is unreal. Now let's unpack the freaking bombshells that are in this between Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And Vader and Ahsoka. His lightsaber going from blue, transitioning into red, and at the end she's fighting Darth
Sith
Vader.
eyes.
The Sith eyes and
Yeah.
everything. So good.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
good.
it's ultimately hurt because it's funny. You're 2 in a row now. Are Ahsoka and Obi-Wan reckoning?
Yep.
With
Trying to bring back Vader.
reckoning
Yeah.
in themselves.
right?
like
coming to terms with Vader. Okay,
yeah.
okay, I get what you
Because that's why I see people like, well, why the fuck didn't Obi-Wan just kill Vader and Obi-Wan then? And it's like it has this at this point. It's not about that. It's
That
about
duel
the.
is not about beating Vader.
It's about the emotional baggage Obi-Wan is still holding
Yep.
for failing Anakin and leading to the creation of Vader, and ultimately that and even some of Vader's taunts help Obi-Wan realize like this wasn't about me.
You see this in movies all the time where a character beats another character and it's like, all right, finish me, and it's like, no, I'm moving past you now. And then as they walk away, they're yelling that person's name and everything. That's what this is. This is Obi-Wan and Ahsoka coming to terms with their failure to Anakin.
Yeah.
Is that Anakin fell to the dark side, and both of them, Ahsoka's his apprentice, Obi-Wan was his master. Both of them feel like they failed their best friend.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what these duels are, and that's why they make my list, is because that is so impactful, that is so deep, and character arcs are perfect here for both of these characters. We don't get to see the closure with Obi-Wan. He fights Anakin, and off he goes. He pisses off and everything. To have that final fight with Vader, so great. Here, Ahsoka comes to term with Anakin becoming Vader, because is it her fault because she left?
Yeah.
Would it have happened if she had left?
Yeah.
That's what she's dealing with here.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
so deep.
Yeah. And Vader throws that at her.
Absolutely he does.
in their real duel,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, she's gonna have that trauma from that. So yeah, good stuff. I'm glad to have seen it on your list because I knew it was gonna be on mine. So I was just like, when I got your list, I was like, I wonder what's on here and what's not, because I was like, there's no way we're gonna have like the same 10 and just jumbled. There's gonna be, because I ended up doing my shotgun list and I came up with 20.
Really?
Yeah, there's 20 that I found.
I only had 12.
Really?
Yeah, I did not. There's some duels that a lot of people love that I'm just like, meh.
And I just shotgunned it, and I just tried to make sure I got everything there because I didn't want to forget anything.
Yeah.
So I tried to get every duel I could find and really think of, and I think it came out with a list of 20. Then I was like, okay, now let's find the ones in here that I really want. So, but I was just like, I was curious. But my number 8, I should have had the number on screen.
Yeah.
But yes, my number 8, Yoda versus Sidious.
Oh, okay. In the
Senate chamber.
Yeah.
I love this. I know it cross cuts with the duel or the Battle of Heroes. But I just love this because it's the two grandmasters, right? I love the grandeur of the, once it moves up into the Senate, because at first it's down in the thing,
in his office,
and like he tries to run, and Yoda's like, so powerful you are, why leave? And it just, I don't know, the arrogance of Yoda is there, but then when he gets up there and they're throwing shit at him like Force lightning, he's just fucking sucking it up into his hands.
When he catches that and just freaking Hadouken back at Palpatine,
there's that.
So cool.
But then there's the time where he just like absorbs it into his hands too, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? I just love it. I know it's not the most like over the top, but it's just while that music is playing too, it fucking slaps for me.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's so good, the music, because it's also the one between Anakin and Obi-Wan at the same time. The music is for both, and it's so good for both of them.
Yeah, it's the point that it goes to back to these guys in the Senate chamber is right when it's the Battle of Heroes brings in the Duel of the Fates chorus. Or like choir. Right when that happens is right when you get that open shot of the fucking Senate.
And it's the big pullback shot where they're slowly, and they're like this big.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking good.
Hayden says, "Love that Sidious has a desk." LOL. That's the only reason he lost this duel. Why this duel took so long for him to win. If he didn't have a desk, he could have just corkscrewed and taken him out. I mean, it killed 3 other Jedi Masters just fine. So
yeah, indeed.
If he didn't have a desk, he would have just
Do it.
that would have been it.
Oh man! All right, so wait, who's going first?
You're number 7.
All right, so my number 7 is you already talked about it, the Ahsoka, Anakin,
Okay, from
showdown.
Ahsoka.
The emotion of all this,
yeah.
not to mention, you've already hit on a lot of it, but like the Anakin and Ahsoka back and forth, and then it turns into Vader after, like, again, she aims at, she's like, what you became to, and so, that's what this is about, and he's just like brushing it off, and then he becomes Vader, right? And like, of course, that shot
is, I will stand by it. That is probably one of the best shots ever in Star Wars.
It's up there for me,
dude. Him walking out of that fog and just,
there's a couple shots in that entire series that are just like paintings.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
they're beautiful.
The Chopper, Hera, and Jason overlooking the water side by side, the 3 of them.
Give me a poster.
Yeah, just
a wall size.
Just give me a wide shot of that fucking on a goddamn wall, dude. It's a work of art. Like, that's where it's like an animator of Dave Filoni. He paints a fucking picture on screen. So
absolutely.
But this stuff is great. And again, I love the emotion because again, Ahsoka's having to come through her trauma of the Darth Vader thing. We're gonna talk about the other half of her discovering that trauma, but this is now multi-years later, and now she's actually facing down with it, and then ultimately she does get Sith eyes. There's no debate on that. She's got Sith eyes, and then she chooses to live. And she chooses not to strike him down, and then he turns back into Anakin and says, "There's hope for you." And it's just the perfect. I mean, I'm getting chills thinking about it. It's so well written.
Hayden says Filoni definitely nailed it. Some of the best Star Wars scenes in all of the franchises. That series,
I
absolutely
agree.
Absolutely
agreed. All right, so your number 7 is
Yoda versus Count Dooku in Episode 2.
So we both had a Yoda. We just picked different ones.
There's a reason I picked this one over the Palpatine one, and the Palpatine one, spoiler alert, didn't make my list. That was one of the 2 that got chopped. The reason why this one makes the list over Episode 3 is because I don't know if you know this, but this was my first Star Wars movie ever in theaters.
Yeah.
I never saw the original trilogy in theaters in '97. I wore out like multiple VHSs of Episode 4. I've told that story before.
Yeah.
Just rewinding the trench run over and over again, pretending I was a fighter pilot and everything. But I remember going and seeing this with you. I don't know if you remember that, but me and you saw this together that summer in 2002.
Yeah. 2.
Yeah. And I remember how fucking hyped I was when Yoda pulled open his robe and
did the gunslinger thing,
force cross drew his lightsaber and ignited it, and it was green. I was just like, and then he started hopping around, dude, insane to see it. And this is after Dooku just wiped the floor with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah,
that's Darth Vader to be. He just wiped the floor, he cut his arm off.
Yeah.
And everything, and to see Yoda hold it and then best Dooku, where Dooku had to run away like a little girl, you know?
Yeah.
You know? Just, it's so good.
What's funny to me too is, dude, I cannot tell you how many times that like Tyson and Aaron and myself had debates over if Yoda ever had a lightsaber.
Yeah.
I know that seems just dumb now because
Obviously,
it's been out for 22 years now.
Duel twice, yeah.
But it's like back in the day, it's just like, did Yoda have a lightsaber?
All he was
like,
the little Muppet on Dagobah.
Yeah, there's just an element of like maybe every Jedi doesn't have a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And we always used to debate like, is it kind of like a wizard thing where like he's just more of a wizard Jedi, so he has the Force. He doesn't need a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And so they spoiled it in the marketing, of course.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Lucas really cares about surprises much, except for certain exceptions. But with I remember the opening night, dude. The fucking cheers. It's probably the loudest open cheer I've ever heard in a movie theater. Like it rivals like sports events I've been to in terms of like the fucking roar of the crowd when he brought that lightsaber out. Unbelievable.
I remember we went and saw it in June of 2002, and the movie came out in May, so we saw it a month after it had come out. And even in June when we saw it, it wasn't a packed theater. It was like a Saturday or it was like a Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we got dropped off there.
Yeah.
At I think we drove. I think one of us drove, and it was a group of us that went and saw it. And I still remember that the theater wasn't packed, and still all of us cheered.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, Yoda's got a lightsaber and he's doing flips. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, my number 6.
All right, let me get this off of here. All right, your number 6 is
Ahsoka Tano versus Darth Maul, The Clone Wars.
was this final season?
Yeah, final season. Because they did another 6 episodes
Oh,
after.
so it was in the pre-Disney era then.
Yes.
I've only seen the Clone Wars truly through one time, so I'm very I couldn't remember. I thought it was in the Disney era, that revamp of Clone Wars. Okay, so it was before that.
It was
then.
before that.
Okay.
The stuff with Ahsoka that takes place in the Clone Wars after in the Disney era is Order 66.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
This is before Order 66, where the clone troopers go to rescue Mandalore from the clutches of Darth Maul, who has taken over Death Watch, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And to see Darth Maul with the dual-sided lightsaber go against Ahsoka with both of her lightsabers, whew, it was a heck of a fight. It was great. I loved it. Every second of it. To see Ahsoka, this is after she's left the Jedi Order, too. Like, the clones recruited her and were like, hey, we need help. And she's like, I'm not a Jedi anymore. And they're like, we don't care. You're a soldier. Come help us.
Yeah.
And so she goes and helps. And basically she's doing this while Palpatine murders Mace Windu and the others, and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda versus Palpatine and all that happens.
Yeah.
This is where Ahsoka is during that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. They would be before that, wouldn't it? Because Order 66 happens when
because
Obi-Wan's on Utapau.
She was trying to get them to come help her, and they had to go back to save Palpatine.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They had to go back and save Palpatine, and she had to handle the situation on Mandalore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Rex.
Yep. Absolutely. And then it's on the way back from this that Order 66 comes down.
Yeah.
While Obi-Wan's on Utapau.
So what is it? What is it with this one for you?
It's to see Ahsoka on her own.
Yeah.
Like this is the ending that we had where she just left the clone, the Jedi, and she had been betrayed by the Jedi, and she walked away from Anakin and the council and everything. Kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, that's the end of the character.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's what we get.
Yeah.
But then they had this come out, and you're like, okay, she's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I came to care deeply about Ahsoka Tano. I love the character all through the Clone Wars and everything. I love her now.
Oh yeah.
She is one of, if you did a top 10 Star Wars character, she's in my top 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's easily top 5 for me.
Top 3
easily.
Easily top.
And it
3
could
for
be
me.
top 3. I'd really have to think about that, but
it
easily
would be a tough one.
Easily top 5 for sure.
We might have to do a top 20 Star Wars characters at some point.
That may or may not be on the list. I think
You
it
just
is.
made the list. But yeah.
Or maybe it's moments. I think I have a top 20 moments.
Moments is good.
But yeah.
But also Darth Maul, the Darth Maul's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I had another Darth Maul duel that didn't make my list. Honorable mention was him and his brother versus Palpatine.
Yeah, Savage Press.
Yeah, the freaking beatdown that Palpatine puts on those two, where Darth Maul's begging at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, oof. But here you see how good the apprentice versus the apprentice is
Yeah.
when they both basically become masters. I mean, like,
Yeah.
let's be perfectly honest. Ahsoka Tano was a Jedi Knight at this point.
Oh yeah.
Like, she should have been given the rank of Knight. If she hadn't left, she probably would have been given the rank of Knight.
Yeah.
Going through the trials would have been a formality.
Yeah.
And Maul at this point, he's pretty freaking powerful.
Oh, yeah.
He took over Mandalore.
Yeah.
So it's great. I know it's animated, but I know some people poo-poo animation.
Man. Not on this show.
I am not one of those, and I know you're
Yeah, not on this show. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna allow it, but yeah, no. There's to look down on animation. I get it because I always keep hearing people bring up Dark Tower about doing it animated. I'm just like, nah, man.
You got to have live action.
You got to be live action. But Star Wars realm animation, there's
Dude,
some of the animation stuff's better than
Exhibit A.
yeah.
Exhibit A right here. This is a fantastic duel done in animation, and it had emotion to it too.
Yeah, there might be more to come.
Also, one of the greatest lines from Darth Maul. I was expecting Kenobi.
I mean, who of us isn't, right? All of us long to see.
Or I was hoping for Kenobi, or something like that.
Yeah, that's
I was hoping for Kenobi.
good.
But you'll do.
Good stuff. All right, so my number, what are you on? 7? 6. My number 6 is Vader and Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan series.
Okay.
You've already mentioned it. A little bit higher for me. I didn't know what to expect. I remember when the show was announced, I was like, do I dare hope?
Do we really need this?
I don't care about need. I was like, do I hope that we finally get to see another showdown, but suited Vader versus, and when it happened, there's that long shot of the two as Vader's approaching. They don't have their lightsabers.
Yep.
I found one where somebody like photoshopped that to where they have their lightsabers ignited, and it's that long shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should use that one. I'm like, it's not real though.
It's not real.
But just everything about this, the emotion. You already mentioned the broken mask, the choreography of it, the light. I mean, the way it's shot with the lightsaber lights, not just on that one scene, but across it.
Yeah.
It just adds an element. I mean, that's probably one of the greatest things that Disney improved is doing these like almost master replicas type things for the actors, because we never had that before.
No.
And so to see
It was always CGI on just a stick.
afterwards, yeah, so it's like we've never seen a scene that's like lit blue and red and looking purple because they're mixing, like we haven't really seen that until The Force Awakens, and now this is following that same way, and it's like, yeah, and I think this is ultimately what Lucas wanted, right? Because the original one, it was like they like had like almost like a it's like some sort of reflective tape on like a pole, and it like rotated, and it was like that would like try to create the idea of like and it just didn't work well for A New Hope, so they just gave up on it and didn't try it for the other two movies. But then they did their own this computer effects and this prequels, but this, it's genius, and I just love this duel. I love Vader, so to see Vader, that was slaughtered a kid openly in this show early on, like, it's just like, holy fuck, dude.
Vader is freaking dark in
He's
this.
fucking brutal, man.
Yeah.
So like, and you know what's funny is I think the ultimate thing that I can say as an absolute compliment to this is, and actually I don't know that it was this one. I think it was the earlier encounter they had. I was afraid for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I have watched these movies since I was 5 years old. I know full goddamn well that Obi-Wan Kenobi is alive in episode 4, but the show caught me so up in it so much that all that left my mind.
You're like, oh my
and
God.
that first showdown, I'm like, he's not going to make it out. Like,
Oh my God,
he's-
Obi-Wan's going to die.
He's going to get killed here.
Yeah.
And it was only after like a few minutes went by and it really sunk into my head. I'm like, wait, what did you just say?
Shut up, Braid.
But it's like ultimately that's the to show like their ability as filmmakers.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I had the same thing happen to me with this duel necessarily. But sorry, I was trying to find your next picture too.
No, you're
but yeah, the show was done incredibly well. I know some people shit on the show, but I love it. So
It had its little things that could have been better, but honestly, this duel makes it worthwhile.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Let's see. Okay, there's
My number 5
All right. So your number 5, jumping over to number 5 now.
is technically 2 different episodes of Rebels.
It's
Ahsoka versus Vader.
It's one duel though.
It's one duel, exactly. Because we get part of a little bit of the duel in the one episode, and then the the owl flies out.
We get a majority of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
What matters, and some of the lines and shit.
Yep.
But
we don't get the ending
until the end
later,
of the series.
but we get to see it. But the first time Ahsoka faces off with Vader, I mean, in Rebels, Ahsoka doesn't even know that Anakin survived.
No,
not until she feels his presence and everything. And
in that earlier episode,
Yep.
yeah.
So this is just heart wrenching to see Ahsoka go against her former master, her big brother. You know,
Yeah,
like that's her big brother. That's
Yeah.
Anakin.
yeah,
And then the helmet split was one of the coolest things I'd seen until that point.
yeah.
Like having his helmet busted open and the yellow eye and everything. Oh, it
Yeah.
was so well done.
Yeah.
Also, I know it's not technically part of the duel, but how fucking badass was Vader riding in on the top of his TIE fighter?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of you. Then you will die braver than most.
Exactly.
It's one of the coolest lines in the
Great
history of Star
lines.
Wars.
Fantastic lines and everything.
Yeah.
This is one, unfortunately, I did not rewatch before, and I don't know
This
it
is
as well.
This is on my repeat where it's like I just have certain scenes on YouTube that just my algorithm will throw me every once in a while because I watch them so many
It's
times.
like, watch this again.
This one, the Vader hallway scene in Rogue One.
Yes.
There's a couple the Krennic scenes with Vader in Rogue One.
Do not choke on your ambition.
Yes, I love it, dude. It's
Yeah.
so fucking good.
You just love Vader.
I mean, he's incredible. But yeah, this duel is one of those. Every single time my algorithm throws it at me, all right, whatever I'm doing, let's stop it because
Let's,
I am.
hold on and
I am
watch this.
watching this fucking
Yep.
duel. Same with the Obi-Wan Maul, the Ben Kenobi and Maul
Oh, yeah.
duel. Like that's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's short, but it's like I'll watch it every time because it's
Well, the scene is not short necessarily,
no,
but
the
duel
duel
is.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Good,
Yeah.
good stuff though.
Absolutely.
It'll show up on mine for sure.
All right, well, you're number 5.
My number 5, The Phantom Menace, The Duel of the Fates.
Slide.
It's
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll.
I was like, wait a minute, it's not there, Tad.
Yeah,
yeah. Duel of Fates.
So Duel of the Fates, kind of like you were saying with Yoda. Like I remember, I'd already seen 97 things, so it's not the first theatrical experience I had by
Yeah.
any means. But the first time I went to theaters and saw a Star Wars movie that I didn't know every fucking frame of
Yeah.
was Phantom Menace in '99, and we know what the original trilogy is, and so suddenly to see something so vastly different, so grand.
Oh, yeah.
And then the music, everything about this duel is incredible. It's in multi stages. Darth Maul, double-sided lightsaber. I mean, his look is fucking incredible. The double-sided lightsaber. We obviously see Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's noble end.
We see a Jedi die.
Yeah.
Not a sacrifice like Obi-Wan and Yoda dying of old age. We see a Jedi get killed.
Yeah. Qui-Gon's noble end.
Had that ever happened? I mean, Obi-Wan kind of just sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
And then Yoda died of old age.
And-
Those are the 2 Jedi that we know of.
Yeah.
Luke survived.
Yeah.
Anakin passed away, but saved Luke, kind of thing.
Sacrificial still.
Sacrificial. But again, this is the first time he just killed a Jedi. And
Yeah.
even the line earlier,
Yeah, nothing can kill a Jedi. And then down the road, that boy would kill
any
all
Jedi.
of the Jedi.
all the Jedi.
But yeah, this is. I mean, I don't know what else I could really say. I know this one's a little bit more on the choreography side.
Yeah.
But ultimately, even when you look at the larger lore of it, the fact that it is the Duel of the Fates, like if Qui-Gon survives this, Anakin's okay.
It's a conversation me and you have had, and you swayed me 100% to your side.
Yeah, Anakin's okay if because Qui-Gon will have treated, because Qui-Gon is a maverick. He flies by his own, he dances to his own tune.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is very by the book, and that
Very council oriented.
that was never going to work for Anakin. Ultimately,
Yeah.
from what we know of Anakin's style, Qui-Gon it would have. So ultimately, the fate of Anakin Skywalker is on the line here. So when you look at that larger context, there is some emotion here. But it's just great. The scenery, the choreography, everything about this duel is fucking incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love
Even
it.
though it's spliced in between other scenes, it's still phenomenal.
Yeah, a lot of these are though. There's not many duels that are just straight
Start to
duels.
finish, yeah.
Because I used to think that with like Return of the Jedi, I remember as a kid just being like, I hate how this one just keeps cutting away. And then as I started watching more closely, it's like, oh well, Empire does the same thing, and New Hope does the same thing. Like they none of them really stick with a duel because I don't know. Have they ever actually? Now that I think, well, maybe like The Force Awakens, because there isn't a lot to cut away with that one.
Yeah.
But in general,
I know The Force Awakens has one because they don't freaking show you Chewie, bastards.
They don't show you Chewie getting in his.
One of your fondest moments is when I thought Chewie blew himself
Oh,
up.
that's so great, dude.
Gosh.
I love the spirit of it.
Oh, man, I was so mad.
Oh,
All right.
it's me next, right?
No, my number 4.
Oh. Okay.
I do the evens.
Oh, well, all right.
Yeah.
So, next up,
Luke versus Vader, Empire Strikes Back.
I listed mine like boxing fights. I just did this, Luke versus Vader, and then the next one's Luke versus Vader 2.
First time we see a Star Wars lightsaber duel between father and son. We find out about father and son the first time you're watching it and everything. Also, it's a fantastic duel. Like,
yeah.
to find out later, like as I grew up, to find out later that lightsabers have weight to them.
Yeah.
They're like broadswords, like, and then to go back and watch Vader freaking wields one-handed and just kind of plays with Luke the entire time. But then Luke gets a hit in on him. And what happens is Vader goes "Wah!" on his ass and just starts throwing shit at him.
So do you think the hand was intentional?
Oh yeah, he
for
absolutely.
Vader, or was that in the pure anger of the moment that he just disarmed him, where it's like "fuck you" and took his hand off?
You're not a father, but if you've ever had a child challenge you, there's videos out there, Ted. Go watch the videos of the kids being like, "Hey, Dad, I bet you I could beat you at this game called Mario Kart," and then watch the parent just absolutely like. There's the parents who are nice, not you, that are nice and are like, "Yeah, let's play."
That are soft.
And then the kid beats him, and the kid goes, "Ha ha, I beat you. You suck at this." And the dad goes, "Crack, snap," and then he absolutely destroys the kid. That's what happened here. Is Vader was taking it easy on him because it's his son.
Yeah.
But the second he hits that shot, watch it again.
Oh,
Vader
no, I know.
goes full on and kicks his
But do
ass.
you think he intended to damage Luke in any way? Or like in my mind, because even think of the carbonite. You know, I want him undamaged.
Absolutely.
So I don't think that he had any intention of actually hurting Luke.
Until he hit him.
That anger happened, and it's fucking all bets are off.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's a blind rage at that point. If a kid ever like, you just go to a dark place in your head and just be like, "All right, motherfucker, you called down the thunder,
and now you got it.
Now you've got it." You know, like, absolutely. Hayden says if Tad had kids, CPS would be involved. Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing makes me happier than when I do find those videos where it's like a kid playing against their dad on like a Nintendo and the kid's just bawling.
Oh yeah,
I love it. I'm like, yes, just
anything with kids getting hurt is your jam.
Just because when it comes to like that kind of thing, like challenge me in Mortal Kombat, kid. Let's fucking go.
Let's see what happens.
I've been playing this like 10 times longer than you've been alive, kid. Come on, let's rock this shit. Good stuff.
When it comes down to it, it's also an iconic duel, but also Luke kind of holds his own a little bit. Like you kind of have hope for him.
Yeah.
Until Vader just like flips that switch, and then you really see what kind of a beast Vader is.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But mainly the number one thing is that I am your father.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be on the list, right? Because of that, one of the most iconic film moments.
Oh yeah,
in cinema history.
Yeah, I would wonder how many times if you went and looked at 10 lists of like most iconic lines of all time. This isn't top 10 of all of them, right? But I wonder it's probably even number 1 on a number of them. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. For me, what is this? Number 5? 4. I need to get some numbers here. So for me it is Ahsoka and Vader, again from the Rebels. Everything about this duel, you already hit on a lot of it, but just the I love the your master is he's I've killed him or whatever.
I killed him,
and it's like, well, then I'll avenge him. Revenge is not the Jedi's way.
I am no Jedi.
Like, just fucking Ahsoka's a badass, dude. I love her so much.
I just got chills thinking about that line.
I mostly missed the Clone Wars on purpose. I went and saw the Clone Wars movie opening, whatever, but I didn't really watch the show, so I can't say I had the biggest attachment to Ahsoka. I fell in love with her in that season 2 of Rebels. And I think probably she catapulted herself into my top 5 right here. Facing Vader, and just not only but fucking doing a job on him too, man. She doesn't. She's not a pushover, man.
She didn't hold her own. She kicked his ass.
She exactly. We hadn't seen Vader beat like that. I mean, yes, Luke has his thing in Jedi, but it's like this felt different. There was something about this where it's like that shouldn't have happened.
That's not father taking it easy on his son, hoping to convert him. That's why Luke beat him.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly honest about that.
Yeah.
Like, that duel's on my list, but there's a perfectly honest reason why Vader lost that fight, and it is not because Luke is better. He's not. He's
Yeah.
not. He's not in the same.
Yeah.
He's not. At that moment, Luke is not better than Darth Vader.
Yeah.
He's not. But here, Ahsoka beats Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like, she beats him.
Yeah, indeed. So I love everything about this. And then, a couple seasons later, we then go back and see the rest of it, which I never thought we would get, right? Because ultimately, it's not Ahsoka's story. It's not her show.
Right.
So they moved it away from us. We got most of the iconic moments that we really love in the first half, but then the second half to see the rest of it. We thought Ahsoka died there. We ended up finding out she didn't. So great stuff. I love this duel. It is one of my favorites. Like I said, it's one I watch all the time. YouTube throws it at me and I'm like, sure. I will never say no to that.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Next up, number 3. Let me make sure.
You're number 3.
My number 3 is Return of the Jedi, Vader, Luke 2.
We just mentioned it.
Yeah, just mentioned it. Musically, this might be one of my favorite musical moments in the history of John Williams scores. Ever since I was a kid, I think 97, they did the extended edition soundtracks. Not extended edition in terms of for the new scenes, but it's a double disc. There's a lot of deep cut stuff.
Because you don't like just like the main. Let me explain this to the fans at home. Tad doesn't just like the main themes. He likes the scene music as well.
Yeah.
Like when Luke and Leia are talking about her family, you like the music.
Oh yeah, Luke and
That's
Leia's
the thing with you is
great
that
stuff.
you love that. It's not just the big empire, the Imperial March.
Yeah.
It's not just the big stuff. It's the in between the Imperial March and the transition to seeing the probe droids get launched in Episode 5. All that music too.
Oh, yeah.
Is your jam.
Yeah. My ultimate hope is that Lord of the Rings did it not too long ago. They released a thing where it's literally every note of music in the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. Give me that for Star Wars, and I'll die a happy guy, man. Like,
You'll just put that on repeat and just have it going for like 3 years.
Seriously. And so I love the moment here where Luke, lets go and, embraces the dark side to beat Vader here.
With the choir.
The choir comes in.
Yep.
We'd only really heard choir through Palpatine's theme to that point, so that's sinister. And then he just fucking lays Vader. But even the rest of the duel, too. I mean, crossblade across, Palpatine in front of Palpatine's great. The back and forth between the two. It's great stuff. I love this duel.
Sister.
So you have a twin sister. I love it, man. It's one of my favorites. We're talking top 3 here. So this is getting down to the nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty.
All right. So what do you got?
My number 3 is Duel of Fates.
Okay.
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. You touched on a lot of it. Seeing a double-sided lightsaber ignite. I wasn't as big into Star Wars in junior high. I got back into it in high school, seeing Episode 2 again for the first time. And so I totally missed Episode 1. So going back and watching it and finding out what happened, the double-sided lightsaber is so cool. Darth Maul has one of the coolest looks in all of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a badass-looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan tag teaming versus one opponent is just awesome.
Yeah.
Ray Park is the actor.
Yeah, Ray Park.
Ray Park's choreography is beautiful. The jumps, the flips,
That
and everything
multiple
like
that area that has like the multiple levels of bridges, like
kicking Obi-Wan in the face was I don't know why, but that always kind of brought joy to my heart.
yeah.
It's just like because you don't really see that. And then is it him that backhands someone? I think Qui-Gon does it to him. Qui-Gon just like gets in close and just bam backhands him and just like. But then the ending is masterful.
Yeah.
Like Darth Maul uses the split to take to take one out and then goes for the other one.
Yeah.
Would Qui-Gon have been able to hold his own if he wasn't so distracted and everything like that?
Yeah.
What would have happened? Like we already talked about it. It becomes even more rewatch worthy.
Yeah.
What if Qui-Gon had won?
Yeah.
And everything.
Star Wars What If.
It's the Star Wars What If. Let's do it.
Allegedly, they're developing a Star Wars What If show.
Oh,
so
they have novels.
if they do that,
Did you know they had novels of that? Star Wars What If? Yeah. I think they do.
Hook it to my veins,
Yeah.
as Mr. Gumble would say. I think I even have a pedal here.
Just hook it to my veins.
All right. Anything more on Duel of the Fates?
No. Oh, music.
Yeah, the music.
One of the greatest pieces of music ever in cinema.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff.
It's so good. And then so that's my number 3. So my number 2 now, right?
And let's just go doubles here
Are we just gonna go doubles?
because we have the same.
We have the same one, dude. Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Anakin Skywalker episode
Battle
3.
of the Heroes.
Darth Vader episode 3. Is
Darth
it
Vader.
It's Darth Vader.
Yeah,
It's Darth
that,
Vader.
at that point. Yeah,
At that point, it's
Darth Vader.
He's got yellow eyes. Yeah, Darth Vader.
Yeah, and he was knighted. It's like you are now henceforth
You shall be known as
Darth Vader.
Vader.
All those old people are. Oh, he's not Darth Vader until he gets a suit. Go to hell. He's
And
Darth Vader.
He got knighted before that.
yeah, exactly. He's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, we could start just where you left off. Music,
Oh,
Battle of the Heroes. So
I mean, you
fucking
covered
good.
it when you were talking about the Yoda versus Palpatine. That's
Yeah.
cross-cut and everything like that. So good. Visually stunning.
Yeah,
Also, the choreography for this, like,
it's
there's so much
it's primo.
in there. It's so good.
like yes, the Phantom Menace. That's one thing. This to me is the primo choreography in everything Star Wars. And there's been some decent stuff,
Yeah.
for sure. But this is the tops. And yeah,
And the fact that it was Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen that pulled it off.
yeah,
Like, I love that. That we didn't have stunt doubles doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And everything. It's those two
yeah,
and everything. That just plays a part of it. But
yeah.
the-
The setting,
blue on blue.
Mustafar.
Yeah.
Remember debating whether it would be blue on blue.
Yeah.
There was a whole debate we had back in
Oh,
the
we
day
did.
where it's
Yeah,
like,
before episode 3 came
is it
out.
like a mood ring where it's going to change to red? Because we assumed he probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
time to change his crystals. So it's
Yeah.
does it just?
Did we even really know about crystals back then as much? I mean,
Yeah.
we had Knights of the Old Republic, but
Yeah.
is that canon? Is it
Yeah.
not? We always had that debate on what is, what isn't, because
Yeah.
we always talked about like the expanded universe and everything.
Yeah.
Is it canon? Is it not? And everything.
But ultimately, we knew that enough that there was crystals, and we just figured,
Yeah.
is there really gonna be time for him to change it? Because I remember even just thinking,
Yeah.
can they really do blue on blue?
Yeah.
Cinematically, is that gonna work?
no, it's not going to work.
It's-
To have a
we've never had
good
the
guy
same-
versus a good guy.
yeah,
It's
we
not
never
gonna
had the
work.
same color
Yeah.
go against itself before. That doesn't make sense.
Wrong.
Yeah, so I remember having that debate, but yeah, lo and behold, it indeed was.
And here we are.
The scenes immediately proceeding the duel.
Yep.
I will do what I must. That entire scene, masterful. Anakin immolation as well as Obi-Wan's last speech
You're
there.
my brother.
It just everything about it, dude, is incredible.
I hate you.
And Revenge of the Sith, man.
Yeah.
2005.
Hells yes.
Great.
And not to mention, there's a fond memory here of this movie.
Oh yeah, it's
Going to see it 3 times in 24 hours in theaters with you.
goddamn right.
See it at midnight. See it at like 10
Noon.
a.m.
Noon. Yeah,
And
it
then-
was midnight, noon, and 7.
and 7 p.m. with the raucous crowds that brought lightsabers and costumes and threw popcorn up in the air when the Lucasfilm thing appeared.
Yeah.
We did it all, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and this duel it's masterful, dude.
Oh,
it's
it's so good.
it's incredible.
It was also really cool because I got to experience. That's the first time I ever experienced the Tad moment, where Tad loves to go to theaters, especially horror films, and he's seen the film already, so he goes a second time just to watch the audience's reaction to a certain scene.
yeah,
Quiet Place is like the most notorious one that you talked about. Is that
yeah,
it's quiet. You could hear a wrapper crinkle. You could hear a mouse fart kind of thing.
yeah.
And
Watching people not drink their drink or eat their popcorn
because
it makes
it was
too
too
much
loud.
noise.
Yeah. But this one was the first time that I ever experienced that, because it's like, okay, here's where if you're not with me, you're my enemy.
Yeah.
And I kind of I remember we were sitting on the wing for one of the second or third show. I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking to my right and watching, because we were halfway up, and I just remember watching the entire audience. I will do what I must, and then yeah, you will try, and then the fight starts. I watched probably 4 or 5 jaws just
Yeah.
drop open
Yeah.
at that moment, and it's just like it holds a special place there for me.
Yeah.
So
Indeed. Great stuff. Well, now that leaves only one.
number 1, put them up at the same time because it's the same fight, just number 1 and number 2. Yours is Luke versus Vader, episode 5.
Oh, I see.
Mine
what
is
you-
Luke versus Vader, episode
I
6.
see. Yeah. So, guessing what if it wasn't?
Dude, no, I know.
what
I
if-
know what your favorite lightsaber duel is. Come on.
What if Empire wasn't my number one? Would you be?
At this point, if you said Empire wasn't your favorite one, I would know that you're an alien and I would murder you. And I'd go to prison. I'd be okay with it. It'd be fine.
Knowing you killed an alien.
Knowing that I took out an alien imposter, impersonating my best friend.
A body snatcher.
Yeah. No. Not on my watch.
So number one's
I
for
will let you go
it's Luke and Vader for both of us. It's just different movies.
That's right.
For me, yeah, you already touched a bit on Bespin. But yeah, for me, I mean, just even the cinematography here. I remember being a kid. I had no artistic talent whatsoever, but I remember always drawing like those like oblong lights that are on the staircase, and then just drawing the silhouette of Vader at the top of it and stuff. Like it's
so
just
menacing.
It's so the carbon
Just
freezing chamber.
Standing there with his lightsaber ignited, not off. He was ready for him.
Yeah, and then you know the dialogue is incredible, but also there's multi stages. One of my favorite lightsaber things ever, and it actually gets mimicked a bit in Revenge of the Sith, which we just talked about, is after Luke takes his tumble and then he's going in through that hallway, and then Vader like somehow shut his respirator off and then had it come back on and fucking lunged at him, and just he's going nuts. He's hitting the walls and shit, and he's just like kind of raging at him a bit there with before the hit even. It's just there's just a menacing, like he just feels big and menacing there. Not to mention, I mean, I did skip Luke getting knocked out the window is incredible. Vader just starts throwing shit at him. We hadn't really seen anything like that before.
Like just grabbing stuff and just throwing it.
Yeah, you know, and then I love
with the Force,
and
not with this. Yeah,
and he just drops his lightsaber too. I love that when he's just throwing shit at him.
Yeah.
He just like lowers his lightsaber. It's great stuff. Of course, the you know the big reveal. You know, Luke getting his hit in, and then Vader kind of like, all right, we're not fucking around anymore, and
All
then
right.
just you know taking his hand
all
off.
right, you little
and-
shit. I'm gonna get my belt.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Exactly. I love Empires. No secret. It's my favorite movie. But this Duel is far and away my favorite. And up until 2005, it was, you know, Empire and Jedi were my 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But that changed in 2005. So
Yep.
yeah, that's it for me. Is Vader, Luke 2 or 1?
Yeah, mine is Vader, Luke, number 2, Return of the Jedi. The reason why is because, like we talked about it at the beginning when we were talking about the reason for our lightsaber duels, is which one impacted you the most.
Yeah.
That's like the number one thing. And the fact that Luke uses the dark side, there's no debating it.
Yeah.
He rages out when Vader brings up his sister and says, well, if you're not going to turn to the dark side, maybe she will.
Yeah.
The primordial scream of rage from Luke. Dude, Mark Hamill nailed it. And then just going ham on Vader, just pounding away and drives him down, cuts his hand off and everything. But then he doesn't turn.
Yeah.
Turns off his lightsaber, he throws it away. And he get my favorite line in all of Star Wars. I'll say it now. There's no debate for me. Never. I am a Jedi like my father before me. Like, I'll never join you. Like, no.
Yeah.
I may have just had a bad moment there. I may have just hurt my dad, but I am never joining you.
Yeah. Plus, like, Lucas having the balls to, like, subvert expectations at, like, the end of this greatest trilogy of all time, it's not going to be the hero killing the villain.
No.
It's going to be the hero not killing the villain. Like, that's just, how fucking wild is that?
Yeah.
Like, it's so, we take it for granted now because it's been out for fucking 30 whatever years
Yeah.
or 40 something years.
Yeah.
But it's just, let's not overlook the fact that, like, that is a ballsy fucking move.
Yeah.
To end your trilogy with, like, such a subversion of expectations. Like, I'm not going, he's not here to kill him. He's here to try to save him.
Palpatine knew that he couldn't be killed by Luke. He had his defenses ready.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we saw them, and it traumatized me still to this day with the lightning teeth.
I was going to mention the lightning teeth.
Oh, yeah.
I was letting you have your moment there to revel in your
The
favorite
lightning-
line
yeah.
before the lightning teeth.
I mean, let's
had
be
to come
honest.
up.
That's part of the reason why this is my number one, is it traumatized me as well.
Yeah.
Still, to this day, I can't think about that without going,
Yeah, Mace gets his lightning teeth.
Luke's is
we saw
worse.
we saw it in the sequel trilogy too somewhere. Someone got lightning teeth.
Yeah.
Because I remember nudging you in the theater.
Shuddered.
I guess it would have been Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
There's no Force lightning previous to that, is there?
I think Kylo gets it, doesn't he?
Is it him that gets? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I haven't rewatched. I don't think I've seen Rise of Skywalker once outside of theaters.
Yeah, I watched it once just to see if I was
Too harsh.
too harsh. That'll be a discussion for another day.
That's another debate. Hayden says, I think number one saber fight for me is when Rey is training in the woods. Get out of here, Hayden. But yeah, Vader versus Luke, the music, you mentioned it, is just
Yeah.
unreal. As much as I like Empire Strikes Back, don't get me wrong, but the music alone in Return of the Jedi is just so good.
Yeah, it is great.
And then that's only talking about the end of the duel. The beginning of the duel, like you said, with the cross in front of Palpatine, and then Luke dodging him. I won't fight you, Father.
Yeah.
And you will die. He throws his lightsaber. He knows not to mess with the high ground. He learned his lesson.
I will say, people can debate in terms of the sequel trilogy, but I will say, in the Lucasian era, John Williams one-upped himself every time.
Every single time.
Every single movie that he came back, it was better than the last.
Oh, yeah.
It just...
I mean, you go from Episode 4 to the Imperial March.
Yeah,
and then from
and
the
Yoda's
Imperial,
theme.
And Yoda's theme. And then from the Imperial March, you go to the final duel between Luke versus Vader alone is just phenomenal music.
Plus, underrated is the Luke and Leia theme.
Oh, it's great.
It's a great one. You only really hear it in their conversation there, but you can find it on like the albums and stuff, and it's a great track. And it is an interesting mixture of Luke and Leia's actual themes. Like note wise, if you break down the notes, it's actually like a musical merging of the two. It's
John Williams is a god.
He really is. He really is. But yeah, that is it for the top 10 duels.
I like how you got Vader on the left and mine, and on the right and yours, and Luke the mirror. I like it.
Definitely wasn't intentional. I actually got my list before I even ranked them, and went and downloaded the pictures, and then grabbed your list and looked at what I had to grab that wasn't on mine, and whatever. And then so.
Not many that weren't on both lists.
No, not a lot.
Only a couple.
Couple variations is all. We both had different Yoda ones. Let's see. You also had the Ahsoka Maul, which I didn't have, and then I don't remember what I had that you didn't have that paired up with that.
I don't remember.
Well, no, because it was the Yoda. Luke and Kylo.
Yeah. Last Jedi.
Yeah, outside of that,
I didn't have any from the sequel trilogy.
And for me, it was just that because everything. I love that scene. It's so good. So that is it for this top 10 duels. Had to do it. Bringing Peter back. That was just like one that immediately jumped to my mind. Where I'm like, that's a perfect episode to have here.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, we did start a little bit early today.
Yeah, sorry. I tried. I thought I sent a social media thing out, but I had to start early. One, Peter's here, so doing the double header. But two, also Dan Carlin is in town in Salt Lake City.
And Tad has a ticket.
I have a ticket to paradise.
We got to wrap that up and get you there.
The greatest podcaster alive.
Oh gosh,
so.
I want more. I still need to listen to the new Hardcore History. I haven't listened to it yet.
Ooh. I envy you. That's glorious.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to look like. This is actually, I don't know if he's done. He did like a batch of 4, and I don't remember the dates of them, but I do know that this is like a test run, whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, what is like a history podcaster? What does a show for him look like? He's not recording a show. It's like, is it going to be a Q&A? I don't know.
Is he going to give you a little talk about a topic, and then you can ask some questions?
I don't know. I can't wait. So yeah, that was part of the reason. But yeah. That is, let's go ahead and hit the emails. If you want to email the show, you can send emojis to Peter at geekeryabides.com.
No, stop that.
Or you can send stuff to me at Tad at geekeryabides.com. Tad is TADD. And I actually have not really spent any time to figure out next time. So that'll be TBD.
Yep.
Which is in a fortnight from now. And then, like I mentioned prior, the May the 4th episode will be moved to the 11th. I will be watching... I haven't decided, because really for me it's reliving like especially the Lucas films. But it's the sequel trilogy. It's nothing to do with the quality of anything. But it's one, I'm not as young as I used to be. I don't know if I could really sit in a theater that long.
For 9
but
movies.
also I've seen those so recently in theaters. I'm like, do I really need to see them again? Whereas like Revenge of the Sith, I haven't seen since 2005, right?
Yeah.
The original trilogy I haven't seen since '97. Like I'm looking forward to the 6 movies for sure. I'm really debating whether I'm going to even stick around for Force Awakens.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, and then again, it's nothing to do with the quality of the movies. It's more of just
Take a nap at 7.
at the
take
end,
a nap during 7, and then watch Last Jedi because you love that one.
at the end of the Marvel one that was 26 hours, I was like hallucinating.
Yeah.
So, and I know this isn't.
I
that
still don't know
long.
how you drove home safe from that one.
It wasn't safe.
Oh,
I didn't
God.
know. I didn't know that would be a thing. Like I had never been so sleep deprived that I was
You should
hallucinating.
have called me.
But yeah, it was while I was on the road. I was like, I don't know if I should be driving.
You should have pulled over and called me. Next time.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. But thanks everyone for joining. We'll be back in a fortnight for a new episode. And yeah, as we always say, finishing off the shows, love what you love, let your geek flags fly high, and to hell with anyone that wants to try to guilt you for loving what you love. Right?
That's right.
What else? What do you got there?
Force will be with you always.
All right, see you guys.
Bye, everyone.